Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the European Technology Network.
We're live, let's go! Woo!
It's the show you watch at work, and it's European summer every single day over here.
Let's do this.
Today is Tuesday, 21st of October, 2025. We are live in the studio with our new table. I'm so far away from Luke, it feels sad. I miss him so much. We've got a few upgrades, you can probably already tell. We have a lovely tray, we have some lovely coffees. But talk of the town, we have Anna. A lovely iced tea beverage.
Thank you very much to the guys at Mana who did this. Tristan and Maro, you are legends. If you have never heard of Mana, go and check them out. I'm not actually sure of their website. I'll go and find it now. Yeah, thank you very much. We're stoked to have them on board.
It's the iced tea created for good times. It's also good for you iced tea. When I first read that, I was like, is it like in a way where it's like iced tea that's good for you, or is it like good for you iced tea?
Good for you.
It's like
good for you.
It's like patting the iced tea on the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, absolute legends. I'll be chugging those down today. I actually had one yesterday on the way back from the office.
You got a coffee as well, don't remember that. Don't forget that.
Coffee, I'll go cold. I actually had one of these bad boys on the way back from their offices when I went and picked them up. And it was delicious.
They're nice, eh?
Tastes like a summer morning in a can. That's how I describe it. It was like a summer morning in a can. Anyway, enough about Mara. Just going into the show, do you want to maybe talk about, just give us some like headlines on the guests that are coming on, and then I can talk about some of the news that we've got going on today as well.
100%. So as usual, we have a pretty stacked guest list, I'm sure everyone knows. But we were going to have Christian Owens on. He is the founder and CEO of Clove. They've just announced their $14 million pre-seed round led by Axel, I believe. But he has bad Wi-Fi. I don't know where he is. He's in the sticks. So
bad Wi-Fi.
We've got Alex tagging in. I don't want to like butcher his last name, but Alex Louizu. I hope I pronounced that right. Alex can tell us later. He's coming on at 11:30. We've got Andreas Helbig, partner at Atomico. We actually famously went to their offices yesterday, dropped a care package of hats off to them, and they gave us some lovely books that we're going to present in a sec. We have Saba Kayenyad. I really hope I pronounced that right too. Serious founder and CEO of VEED. Absolutely astonishing company. He bootstrapped that to 5 or 6 million in revenue, and then Sequoia led their round. So pretty cool. Stoked to talk to him more about video and stuff that's going on in their realm of tech. Then we have Bella Wirtz, founder of Tech Europe and the Sandbox. I'm sure you guys, if you guys are tapped into the European tech, he is basically everywhere. He's setting up these kind of viral hackathons pretty much everywhere in Europe. And he's killing it. And I'm actually super excited to talk to him because he keeps going viral, and I want to know how and why.
Killer poster.
And then we've got Wing Chan. He is the CEO at Sourceful. Wing is interesting because they basically just got the top spot for building. Let me read this out to you so they just launched Riverflow 1, a purpose-built image editing model for production-grade brand workflows. It debuted number one on artificial analysis, image editing. So it's number one on artificial analysis and image editing on the leaderboard, right?
On like the benchmark.
Which is kind of mad. Like they're beating some like massive tech companies as a kind of non-hyperscaler tech company. So congrats to them. We're going to talk to them. Super cool. I mean, they're beating Google, ByteDance, Alibaba, Black Forest Labs, OpenAI on all of their model. Their Riverflow model is literally beating.
That's pretty cool.
So good on them. That's our guest list. Super cool. Do you want to touch on a few stories that we're gonna talk about? Yeah,
just high level headlines first. Then I want to go into our little tour that we did the other day and the stuff that we picked up. But
let's do it.
Yeah, so we're discussing some stuff around the X-Builder AI CFO has been subpoenaed by US authorities after the whole debacle that they went through. which is a pretty interesting story. We'll get into that. CoMind raises 60 million. Very cool, incredibly young founder, James, building an absolute machine. I think it's 100 million raised to date now. AWS cloud servers have gone down. That's kind of hectic for a while, but didn't affect us. Let's go. Defense tech continued to boom. Benioff walks back Trump praise after widespread backlash. Apple signed a $700 million deal for US Formula One rights. That was really cool. I really want to look into that. And a couple. Also X is launching a marketplace for unused handles. That's massive. Yes. I can't imagine how many people are pumped about that, including us. And something that was like a little bit older, but I think we just forgot to cover it on last week's show, was that Farmer J's are our favourite place to grab some, I want to say healthy, but like now that I'm thinking out loud,
they are pretty healthy.
It's healthy. They're going to New York. They've raised 23 million. They're going to fly into New York and expand to the US, which is really cool. And then we have some other bits and tidbits to go into. One being, I want to talk about the Boris Johnson clip of him saying like AI and GPT. AI. Do you like AI? Do you know AI? That got me.
He's such a meme. He's such a meme.
Like, people are watching that and they're like, this guy used to be a leader of like a G7 country. Very interesting. Anyway, let's go into the stuff that we got yesterday, because this is going to be, we're going to have to put them up, I think. But if I move around, is that going to destroy everything? I don't think so. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Let me.
Just while Ronan's getting his stuff, CPoint, get back control of your finances with CPoint, your startup's financial home. CPoint is a business account that handles invoice payments, expenses, payroll, and reporting.
So,
thank you very much, CPoint.
Thank you, CPoint. This is Atomico's State of European Tech. It is from 2024, so it will soon be out of date, but we thank them nonetheless, and we look forward to receiving the 2025 edition. It's just full of excellent
lots of graphs, lots
knowledge.
Of words. We love words and graphs over here in the ETN.
Favorite kind of stuff. Words and graphs. Should we put them?
Let's just whack them there for now, and we can.
Do you not think we should grace them on the shelf?
Yeah.
Or should they like find a little nice?
Yeah,
do they fit in that bit or no?
Yeah.
Look at that. Prime real estate for Atomico.
Let's see if people can see that.
There we go.
We're a bit lagged. We're a bit lagged.
Behind.
I'm sure people can see it.
Up next, we have this lovely tote bag from VEED, which is very kind of them. We did a little run around to their office yesterday to meet
did a bit of a London tour
yesterday. Drop off some caps. They also have some lovely socks here that says "Prompt the Generative AI Hackathon," and that was in collaboration with FAL. So there they are, lovely socks that I'll be wearing. I want to say maybe they're going to be my gym socks, but is that a bit rude? To be like, I'm just going to wear them to the gym. I feel like the gym's like a throwaway.
You're kind of you're wearing.
Right.
Yeah. You're wearing the kind of AI
just in the
AI
gym
merch in the gym. I feel like that's quite cool.
Is that okay? Fair enough.
I mean, maybe that's just me being a weird.
Okay, so this is going to go maybe just here, I think. Ooh,
yeah.
Don't knock over. And then, I'm sorry, not to like, all gifts are great, and we really appreciate the fact that people are giving us these lovely presents to put on our barren shelf. Mm-hmm. But I think this might top the lot. This one, which is from the Synthesia co-founder himself. It is. Do you want to grab that side? Then you can just show this up to everyone. This is a Synthesia jersey. If you can see this, it's absolutely incredible. Got a little London HQ on there, Synthesia Club.
That is pretty cool.
And then a little number 20 on the back cool. there. So that was like
just before
that was super.
Let me just
super awesome gift.
Do this.
Yeah.
Here's me.
What? Oh, this? Yeah. Oh, you want to get it up there?
Yeah.
Is that maybe like weigh it down with?
Sorry, Atomico. Sorry, Atomico.
We're using.
It kind of has to be done.
It kind of does, to be fair.
I mean, look, we've got two, right?
2024 edition.
We've got two for a reason.
And we got two, so it's all good.
It's only the.
Look at that.
Does that work?
I think so. Is it going to fall?
It is going to fall if I take the book off it, but.
Look at that. Round of applause for Synthesia's gift, because that is just like top drawer.
That looks pretty good.
Gift.
That looks pretty good. Hopefully, we're good. Okay, cool. Let's get into today's stories. I think maybe the first one we should touch on. I kind of want to touch just quickly on CoMind. I don't know if did you mention CoMind?
Yeah.
This is crazy. A teenager has raised over $100 million in funding. UK brain. So the FT says UK brain monitoring startup goes from teenage idea to $100 million in funding. London-based CoMind is aiming to start selling its medical device in 2027. A British startup developing technology to monitor blood flow and pressure in the brain without having to puncture the skull has raised more than $100 million in funding. The crazy thing is that it was founded by someone called James Dacoum in 2018 when he was a teenager after leaving school at 16. The brain is the most important organ that you have, and yet it's the least monitored in the patient or at the patient bedside, said Dacoum. We want this brain monitoring to become as common as having your blood pressure taken. Super interesting, and just like absolutely like bananas that he's raised from 16 years old. He started CoMind.
Insane. I called DM'd him on Twitter because we were chatting with Amy from Local Globe to see if we can get one of their team on because they were involved in the round. Just to break it down, I think her name is Julia, who led the Local Globe side of things for the recent 60 million raise, but unfortunately Julia is not available. So I reached out to James on X. We are yet to hear back. My cold outbound game on X is not as good as yours, I don't think.
Yeah.
More of LinkedIn kind of guy.
It's tough.
But this particular paragraph here is quite cool.
You're going from the European angle on the LinkedIn, right?
I am. It's like, hey, so good to connect.
Yeah, great to connect.
So good to connect. I just can't wait to network and share thesis around trending narratives with you. My usual pitch. But CoMind has developed a non-invasive device that uses low-powered infrared lasers to monitor cerebral blood flow, intracranial pressure, and autoregulation, which are particularly important metrics for patients who have suffered traumatic brain injury or during heart bypass operations. So James is doing this when he's leaving school at 16.
He's coming. Yeah, so apparently this is the founding story. He started CoMind after friends and family suffered from strokes and dementia, winning its first investment from London-based Entrepreneur First and Local Globe. He also received a 100k grant from the Teal Fellowship, program that run by Peter Teal for entrepreneurs aged 22 or under who do not have a university degree. What's interesting is EF is coming up a lot in the show actually, because so obviously EF doing absolutely incredible stuff. We would love for Matt Clifford to come on. I think obviously he's awesome. But this guy, backed by EF, congrats to them. We've also got the Clove founders. I believe Alex was the first cohort in EF, so we should ask him about that. He was the first guy to kind of ever come out of EF. And clearly doing some pretty insane stuff, raising 14 million pre-seed.
Quite literally doing God's work.
No, genuinely, yeah.
Which is nuts. I mean, 16. What were you doing at 16?
I have no idea. Head in the sand.
Yeah, I was
playing sports.
I was playing COD.
I was either playing COD
Modern
or
Warfare 2 had just dropped.
GTA, I guess, and
those are good times though. Not
playing football. And tennis and
trying to work out now, if I could go back, would I give up?
Would I start
Modern Warfare 2 S&D lobbies? You just finished school on a Friday. You've got nothing to do. You've got a full weekend online.
This guy's shipping. This guy's
head down. This guy's shipping code, building nuts
building $100 million
quite literally
companies
on a generational run. Yeah, would I go back and change it? I don't know. I had some pretty good times.
Not to be peak, but I don't think you'd have the choice.
That is true. If I did, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But we have to try and get James on. It'd be great to hear more about the raise and the plans for the future and where they're at and where they're planning to go. Mm-hmm. Also, just kind of saw this the other day. Thought it would be worth mentioning. But Boulderton have got two 2 new people on the team.
Boom.
2 new.
Congrats to Bolton.
Part of the.
Congrats to the new hires as well.
Yeah. They're scaling the investment team in Europe. So James Wise put this out the other day. Happy to share that Nicholas Falk and Zain Waheed have joined the Balderson team today as we continue to scale our investment in Europe. Nicholas is a machine learning engineer and was formerly at the recently exited Lakira AI, whilst also studying reinforcement learning and language model research at UCL. Zain studied engineering at Cambridge and spent time at Atomico and BCG while working on his own agentic AI side projects. They'll be working closely with me on our AI model and infrastructure investments amongst other areas, so please do get in touch with them if you're keen to talk to us. And then two lovely
let's hope
headshots
they don't start a bi-weekly podcast show, because I think they'd take our listeners, to be honest.
Yeah, they probably would actually.
Guys, please don't start that.
Yeah, message out there to Nicholas and Zain. Do not start
Stay at
rival European technology show that's live every Tuesday and Thursday. It's a show you watch at work, of European technology show.
Sponsored by Jack and Jill. Don't miss the unmissable jobs at the hottest companies. Jack and Jill will listen to what you want and search thousands of new jobs every hour to find job opportunities worth seeing. Go to jackandjill.ai to figure them out. We had them on last week. They're pretty cool.
I don't know this for a fact, but
they're building 2 companies.
It's possible that Nicholas and Zain use Jack and Jill. I don't know. Like, how do you find the unmissable jobs you don't want to miss?
They definitely use Jack and Jill.
It's with Jack and Jill, right? And
I should have made that link. Did I? I didn't make that link.
It was there, kind of.
It was there.
Just an alley-oop, But just an alley-oop.
Yeah, cheers. I appreciate it.
No, all good. But yeah, congrats to Nicholas and Zain. Very fun. Congrats to the Bolton team, and congrats to James Wise, working with a brilliant individual, a friend of the show. But no, it's a round of applause all round for those guys. Quick one for them.
Good stuff.
Okay, ex-Builder AI CFO has been subpoenaed. So for those who don't know, I think this story broke earlier in the year, but basically Builder AI was misleading basically everyone that was working with them, whether it was investors or customers or essentially like anyone that had any kind of relationship with them.
It collapsed into insolvency in May after an internal investigation found evidence of potentially bogus sales, and it revised down revenues to just a quarter of prior estimates.
Yeah, it's tough, when you. I think I'm not sure. Did you?
Congrats to Sachin. He is A1 AI slop, but in human version. He just had a ton of developers. It wasn't AI.
Well, they were stationed in India. It was basically one of these annotation labs where they're just kind
of. They were HQ'd in London. But
the whole, people thought that, build
the AI models which weren't actually AI models.
It was just
they were actually just human developers.
Which is nuts, because people would joke about that. Conversions. Sometimes we joke about that, right?
Yeah.
But these guys actually did it, and they were valued at more than $1 billion. And I'm just looking at this article on the FT. We need to get screen sharing at some point. We'll probably start doing that next week, because I'd love to show you guys this, but it's in the FT anyway. But Sachin's wearing some really fresh jumper. It's like, I don't know, founder rocks up and it's like if you had a founder that was apparently doing well and they're wearing all this Gucci stuff and all this sort of really flamboyant outfit, I'm not sure that's a great signal to the market.
Yeah.
But hey, this is fresh. He's aura farming on stage over here. Unfortunately, he did get caught doing all this, which is a shame. But a quick quote from the FT. Builder AI, co-founded by the group's former chief executive and self-declared chief wizard, Sachin Devdugal, grew to be one of the UK's biggest technology startups based on its promise to revolutionize. Is that a spelling mistake? Nifty. Based on its promise to revolutionize the development of apps and websites with artificial intelligence. But he's been subpoenaed, basically. The subpoena seen by the Financial Times requested that the CFO has been subpoenaed. Andreas Elizondo appeared before a grand jury in a Manhattan court for questioning in September. Elizondo oversaw the London-based global finances from 2021 to 2023. He was stopped by the FBI in August on a flight stopover in Dallas, according to people familiar with the matter. This is it's kind of like a film. It's kind of nuts. It kind of reminds me about the deal.
There'll be a film made about this, for sure.
The deal thing.
It's just kind of nuts that this is a genuine story that happened. Tech is just, it's just getting more theatrical as the days go on. It's just awesome.
It is. It's kind of sick.
Like,
I mean, this is obviously
a
not
movie.
sick. Like this is a shame. And
we do not condone anyone to do that.
Yeah, it's not good for the ecosystem. Having
bad
actors like that.
Builder AI is bad, but
man, is it a good story?
Good
and it probably is film worthy, right? Like I think we're seeing, the guy out of like The Social Network was like, in my opinion, one of the greatest films ever.
The Social Network started entrepreneurship in like
dude, like, I got hyped when I watched that. And I'm non-technical, right? I'm like, I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'm gonna do something there. I'm gonna build a Facebook rival as a non-technical. But no, interesting. I'm not sure what the conclusion toward this is essentially, but De Gaulle's lawyers have disputed the accuracy of the allegations. A previous set of lawyers that he and Builder AI hired last year said that neither De Gaulle nor the company had misreported any sales figures. So it's kind of like a bit of, yes you did, no we didn't, yes we did, no we didn't, and now they're subpoenaing like other execs around the CEO. But I guess we'll see how that turns out. I mean, best of luck to everyone there. The funny thing about this is in tech, like, I'm not sure if I saw another article on this, but like, if let's say he kind of gets away with it, but it's kind of like, okay, you don't go down, but everyone kind of knows that you did kind of mess up there, you shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. He'll just raise another like massive round. Like people will just.
If he's not in jail, he just raise more money.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing with tech. Like, I feel like you.
So you reckon it's like Elizabeth Holmes comes out of jail, she's just gonna raise.
Dude, if Elizabeth Holmes comes out of jail, she'll 100% raise a load of cash.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's fair.
And like from two angles, like one as in like she will definitely want to, because she knows like.
Well, she'll just ride the like. I mean, like everyone like. Well, no, this is obviously not correct, but everyone like is enamored by her on X. Like she goes viral.
No, I think it's kind of sick. I think it's kind of sick that she's on X. I mean, she's kind of badass. She's tweeting out from prison, but
again, we do not condone what Elizabeth Holmes did.
Obviously not. Obviously not. But she's a good Twitter poster. I'll give her that. She knows how to write some cool posts.
Yeah. She knows how to shit post. Excuse my
French.
But
she will raise if she comes out of prison. She will raise. People will give her money because like she's already her own marketing and GTM team, right? Mm-hmm. Like she is. Distribution's done. Everyone knows who she is, right? So it's like, again, not on the same level, but if like Kim Kardashian released like, I don't know, an iced tea brand, like it'll sell out in a day. Yeah. Obviously Elizabeth Holmes isn't on that same level, but like in the tech world, she's pretty well known. So she releases a wait list for a new, whatever it is, just by tweeting on X, like no ad budget, no like growth, like no, putting no cash behind it really. Mm-hmm. Boom. Like, 10,000 signups.
Well, there's money for this, right? Like, there's there are things for this to, like people raise tons of money after all these different scandals, and that's just kind of like, it's just hype at the end of the day, right? Investors are just looking for that hype. Obviously, like they're looking for proper companies as well.
Well, she's obviously intelligent, right? And she knows how to kind of build a company, kind of.
She knows how to fake
a really good one, but hey man, fake it till you make it. Fair play, good for her.
That's jokes. Should we give a bit of a background on Alex before we kind of jump in?
Yeah, well we've got 4 minutes. We can. I want to quickly just talk about the Medfin team real quick. Daniel Jones, friend of the stream, friend of ours.
Dan, let's go.
Post went up yesterday on LinkedIn. It's the whole crew, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, all dripped out in some very like engineering level fits. Dan's flexing the ETN cap. Looks brilliant. It's good to get that out there. The post goes out 10:06 p.m. in London, and Team Medfin is still shipping. Our core philosophy is that a small, incredibly driven team can go further, faster. We're shipping new features weekly and rolling out our AI platform with dental groups across the country. This is just the beginning. P.S. If you're a cracked engineer who wants to build with people that are, I love this bit, unapologetically ambitious.
Nice.
Come join us. We're hiring. That's the Medfin team over there doing great work in the dental space. I had to drop a comment. Amazing day to be a Medfin customer. Dreadful day to be a Medfin competitor. Because you see that, strikes fear in the eyes of your enemies.
In the eyes of all the dentists out there, all the SaaS companies building for dentists, they're all like, oh my God.
It's like the five
There's
horsemen of
five
the apocalypse.
cracked dudes in a Paddington WeWork.
Yeah, I'm asleep reading it on LinkedIn.
Just shipping.
I'm in bed reading it on LinkedIn. They're all
Yeah.
in the office, collaborating and increasing shareholder value.
Congrats.
So
we have Alex on the show in 2 minutes. Alex Liozo, he is the co-founder of Clove. He's also the CPO. So we'll dive deep into the product. He previously co-founded a curated marketplace called Truva. It was acquired by Made.com, I believe, in 2022. And yeah, so he's teamed up with Christian Owens, who is the founder and ex-CEO of Paddle. So massive founders, unbelievable. Like, you know, obviously they're going to raise from some big investors. They've raised a $14 million pre-seed led by Axel. So congrats to them. And yeah, let's just see what Axel has said about it. So today's financial advice industry is set up to only serve individuals who are already wealthy, resulting in a huge financial advice gap that impacts hundreds of millions of people globally. Recognizing this, the FCA has introduced regulatory changes to help bridge the advice gap, explicitly encouraging low-cost segmented advice that incumbents are not set up to deliver. So there's a ton of like legacy platforms in advice, lots of. It's very kind of like old old finance stuff, wealth management firms, and obviously there's a place for that for the wealthy individuals, but I think there's a stat that says 7 million people in the UK, something like that, have over £10,000 in savings, in like idle cash, and that could be 100k or whatever. And so there's a huge gap, and there's lots of players kind of doing all different stuff, and Clove have taken a different approach. So we're going to ask a little bit more about that approach. So that will be super interesting. Have we got Alex on the show?
We've got Alex live and direct right now. Alex, can you hear us?
I can't hear Alex.
I also can't hear Alex. Let me just see if...
Technical difficulty. It's okay. Oh, it's all good.
Oh, Alex, can you hear us?
Alex?
Nope. Let me...
No.
I can see him. Let me...
Alex, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We can.
There we go.
Now. Can you hear him?
My mic's on. That's why.
Amazing.
Alex, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Firstly, congrats on the $14 million pre-seed.
Thank you so much.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
For that.
Yeah.
It's only the beginning, so
it's only the beginning.
Hopefully we'll talk in the future again, and then we'll be able to talk about some bigger milestones as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, we'll touch on that in our conversation, I'm sure. Let's just quickly touch on Christian's absence and the fact that he has bad Wi-Fi. So look, thank you very much for tagging into the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
How do we want to keep this off? I just want to hear, Alex, how are you? How have the past, what is it, a week and a half since the raise, maybe a week since the raise? How's
it's been amazing. It's been great to be able to talk publicly about what we're doing with Clove. It's obviously something that we've been obsessing over for a while now, so being able to talk about it is great, and the reception so far has been amazing. So that makes us happy for sure.
Yeah,
very cool. And how was it? How long was it in stealth? Like, how long has this been in the works?
Well, we started kind of thinking about the proposition, looking at the market earlier this year. Spent quite a bit of time between myself and Christian trying to figure out what the angle was and kind of what the play was. And then, went out to raise in May, got the round together in June, and really kicked off in August. So it's not been that long.
No, I mean, it's pretty quick considering how big the pre-seed is and stuff. So no, really cool. I want to kind of deep dive on the product specifically. I know you're CPO, so you've obviously built the thing from scratch. Tell us more about Clove and kind of what you're solving generally, and then we can kind of deep dive a little bit further into that.
Yeah, sure. With Clove, the vision is effectively to create a managed service, a managed advice service for people that fall under the 250K threshold that exists today, for you to be able to get financial advice. And when we're talking about financial advice, a lot of times people straight away just think about investing. Financial advice obviously is quite broad. It's all about kind of figuring out what your milestones are, what your goals are, figuring out your budget, your cash flow, and then figuring out how to get you there, but also be part of your journey over the long term and helping you when you need help. And that's something that traditionally has been only available to people with a certain threshold, at a certain threshold. And we believe that now is the time to basically make that available to a larger segment of the population.
Yeah.
So that's the vision behind Clove.
I'd love to ask, like, how did this team come together, right? Because I think you've got a pretty insane lineup to attack this particular problem. How did everyone come to go? Like, how did the team form around Clove?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny story. So Christian and I have known each other for about a decade now. We both built businesses in London, starting like in 2012, 2013. We both had like a decade of kind of founding, running the businesses, and obviously different outcomes, but kind of were in the same ecosystem and connected a few times. And then a common friend of ours, Chris from Kindred, he basically is our common kind of therapist. Like whenever we have anything, like he always calls us up and checks how we are and stuff. And we were telling him the same story, effectively from different perspectives, that when it comes to kind of like financial advice, when it comes to having someone to help you out when you're not a high net worth individual, it feels like your options are quite limited. So we were double clicking in that space at the same time, and he was just like, you need to talk to each other. And then, you know, you start talking about it, and slowly you start building conviction. And when you have something as important as financial advice and the prosperity of people and a problem that many people feel, then you start identifying some really strong people around you that kind of also, as you talk, they're like, yeah, like I feel the same thing, this should be solved. And it's been great so far. We've got a really strong kind of like team of investors behind us. We've got an early team that is amazing as well. And like we're out there hiring. So anyone who kind of wants to join the vision and join us in building this company, apply on clove.com.
So
nice, good plug. I like that.
There's two things I wanna just quickly touch on right there. One is obviously you guys are hiring. We can find out all the specific roles and we can help distribute that. We'd love to try and spread the message. The second thing is that the raise in particular, you mentioned just then, like obviously you've got incredible backers. 14 million pre-seed, like even today is still like a lot, right? I know that things have changed a little bit from the past 5 years, but like that's a big pre-seed. 14 million is a big pre-seed. Can you maybe talk about like how like who are the investors that are on board? I know we've mentioned who led it, but who are the other investors on board that you can speak about? And also how, you know, for people listening, I don't want to say like, how do you raise 14 million pre-seed? But like, what does a 14 million pre-seed look like? Like, what is the process within that, right? Because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, so the round is basically the lead is Axel with Matt Robinson, ex-Go-Kartless, amazing to have this backing. I'm really grateful for it. And then obviously Kindred and Air Street Capital, Nathan Benaish as well. So some really strong investors behind, and we've got a team of angels as well that are amazing. So these are the guys that are backing us. Now, in terms of the round size itself, I'm a big believer that you just need to figure out what your vision is, figure out what your market is, figure out what you're trying to achieve. And then capital is basically just a function of like, what type of runway do you need to prove your proposition and ensure that you are in a position where you can either choose to raise the next round or go towards profitability or whatever else. And the reality is that financial advice, there's many businesses that have tried to solve this before for the lower end of mass affluent, some successful players in the robo space, but like generally it's been a space that it's very hard. Like there's everything from like getting your license, regulation, all the way to building out your distribution, getting your customer base, and so on and so forth. So I think the size is a reflection of not just the ambition, but also how challenging the space is going to be, and we need to make sure that we nail certain points of the proposition. So that's kind of a reflection of the round size. As with any other funding round, I think it ends up being like, okay, this is the size, these are the relationships that you already have, these are new relationships that you form, and then there is a process on kind of pitching the proposition and kind of showcasing what the vision is, why you are the ones that can achieve it, and what the future looks like. And for us, it kind of, that was the process, and we were able to do that successfully.
Interesting. What's the like you mentioned the kind of size of the market and how advice has been, it's been tried to sort. It's like the kind of massive problem, and it's so general. It's not just like where to invest your money. It's kind of very. There's so many different problems in it. How are you guys specifically attacking it so early on, and like what's the like roadmap for like the next 6 months to kind of attack like that general problem? Because you're kind of, from what I've like read, you're trying to solve it in a way where you're still integrating humans and you're essentially just you're reducing the amount of tasks that they have to do, so they can only just focus on the advice, right? It's less admin, it's more just advice. Is that what like other players are doing? Like what's the kind of overall market looking like?
Okay, if we take a small step back, basically like what we're saying is, and I guess the strong opinion that we have here is that if you want to solve financial advice, you want to have humans in the loop. We've been amazing in fintech over the past 15, 20 years, building heavily transactional experiences where the key was to basically streamline and automate as much as possible of the experience and turn it into a self-directed experience. And that's great. Many big businesses were formed out of that. But when it comes to wealth, when it comes to financial advice, there is an element of complexity. There is an element of building trust. There's also a psychological element of understanding the psyche of the customer. Is this a customer that should be buying the dip, or is this the type of person that needs to just pull through? So there are certain characteristics to this specific space that require that human contact. So why we believe now is the right time is effectively a function of, one, there's a lot more infrastructure available to be able to build propositions end to end. And then on the other hand, with LLMs, we're able to not replace what the advisor does, but make it more efficient, help the advisor, give them superpowers, right? And so if you are able to scale them, then you should be able to also break the underlying unit economics of how the model exists today. So that's kind of why we think right now and how we think about the solution and how we're looking to approach it. There's many different businesses in the space, obviously, and you'll know a bunch of them, but largely it's kind of like traditional advice managed, bigger networks on the one hand side, where you do get time with an advisor, and then on the other hand, you've got like the self-directed, you do everything yourself kind of proposition, which fits the needs of a lot of people, but there's still kind of this middle ground of a managed service for the lower end of mass affluent that is kind of not really available right now, and we're aiming to change that.
Interesting. You mentioned like investments, right? Like there's like a psyche behind the individual using the platform. It's like, this person, is this someone who would buy the dip or not? Like, are you saying then in that regard that like Clove can actually kind of coach you specifically on like time specific or moment specific investments within like a certain stock or ETF or whatever it is? Like particular
I would say that that reference was more about like, it's hard to detect these kinds of behavioral aspects of an individual through language models or AI chatbots and all. Like, it's getting better, but it's still quite hard to be 100% right, which you need to be if you're providing financial advice.
Yeah.
But having the human in the loop means that we're able to employ humans for what they're best at, which is understanding those psychological traits and those personality traits of a human being. And I think that's a really important thing when it comes down to financial advice, where you're trying to effectively optimize the future wealth of a person in correspondence to their psychological profile.
Yeah. So in terms of the workflow, so you're internally I guess hiring these advisors, and then you have the general kind of public who I think is your minimum 10K, is that right, to invest?
So our minimum, it's not quite defined yet. We'll have to see depending on the early testing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be way lower than what the minimum threshold is right now, which is around the 250K mark.
Yeah. And that's purely just because you can, fee wise, that's only, advisors can only operate on a minimum of 250 because of their fees. And you okay, that's interesting. So in terms of that workflow, who's going to be using the if I signed up to Clove, right? Is it me wanting advice, or is it the advisor, or you have the advisors on the back end?
So it's you requiring advice because of perhaps a certain issue that you're facing, or just because you want to get on top of your finances.
Yeah.
And then what we would do is funnel you through a modern experience of fact finding, figuring out everything that we need to know in order to be able to provide you with that advice, and then basically going through an experience where you interact with the advisor directly yourself as well. That may be through a video call, voice notes, text messages, whatever the preferred way of communication is, and whatever we need to do in order to be right about the advice that we're giving. And then from that point, effectively, the aim is to create a financial plan, which then is executed in the same place. So you create your financial plan, you set up your budgets, you get your cash flow model, and then all of that is basically funneled through into tax wrappers, low-cost index funds, or whatever the type of investing is, all the way to your pensions and so on and so forth. Yeah. So it's a managed solution with a human and the offering of a plan and the execution of that in one place.
Yeah. And this is all fell into place with the timing of the FCA changing the regulation. How's that looking on your side? I presume you're going through that process right now to get regulated, right?
Yeah, so we're building effectively a vanilla advice firm, right? So we're going for a direct authorization with the FCA. We're intending to get our license and then start onboarding the first customers. And there are some positive tailwinds, both in terms on the political scenes, but also from a regulatory perspective. The advice gap is very clear. It's being spoken about a lot. The need for growth is being spoken about a lot as well, and hopefully we'll be able to contribute to that from our side as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Really interesting. So, and this is obviously a consumer AI app. So I'd be keen to hear. It sounds like maybe there's a few things that need to be done first, but are you guys? How are you approaching distribution? How are you approaching is there a virality loop? Are you trying to maybe push this on? I guess in terms of the ICP, it's probably going to be younger individuals. Is that short form content? I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the customer base initially, our intention is to go for people that are kind of graduating the whole DIY, I'm just doing everything myself, into kind of more of a long-term view of their finances. Perhaps that's driven by a certain life milestone that they've achieved. Perhaps it's something that's coming up that's stressing them out, but they're starting to think about a longer-term view of their finances. And then from that perspective, we know that people are searching for advice. Right? It's not that they're not searching for advice. They're doing that on YouTube, they're doing that on TikTok, they're doing that on Reddit, on forums, and so on and so forth. They're even doing that on ChatGPT. But then that also presents an opportunity of being there and providing them advice from an actual entity that is regulated through content. So it's definitely a content play here as well, to be able to position ourselves in front of the right people at the right time. And on the other hand, there's a lot around specific kind of question marks that people have. For example, the new changes in taxes and so on and so forth. So we'll try to position ourselves in the right places to be able to help people out and hopefully give them the opportunity to onboard to Clove. And yeah, obviously, like from the moment that someone's onboarded, all of the typical kind of growth, sensible growth, kind of like loops apply, whether that is based on like wait lists, referrals, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, like word of mouth stuff. How much does the like UI, like UX stuff and design of like Clove play into that then? Like, I look at your website, like your. Say again.
It's fundamental. Like
Yeah.
it's a key part of the experience. It's how do we bring all of this in a compliant way always, but how do we bring it to today? Right? Like, how do we make certain processes that may feel, or flows that may feel very cumbersome right now? Like a 60-page questionnaire that you have to go page by page and fill out certain things. Like, how can we make it more simple and more, dare I say, enjoyable, whilst keeping it sincere and compliant? I think that's those aspects of it are key, because it just, the friction that exists right now, it's just not aligned with how we think about how experience should be. So it's a fundamental piece to the puzzle for sure.
Just before, we've got 1 minute left, but you mentioned you guys are aggressively scaling, you're aggressively hiring, you want to put this money to good use. Can you maybe just walk us through what are the sort of P1 roles right now, a message to any listeners and anyone who sees the clip? What are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, we're hiring across multiple different functions: engineering, design, operations, compliance, but also advisors. So we're like, all of the open job roles are on clove.com/careers. So feel free to kind of like apply there. We also have an open role for anyone who doesn't see something but really wants to contribute. Like, send us your details. Maybe there is a fit. But at the same time, we're keeping the team quite senior and quite collected and small. The key here is to make sure that we have the time to figure the distribution out, to figure the product out, and to really make this count, because this is a massive problem and someone needs to solve it, and we're definitely going to give it a good shot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cool.
Well, we're super excited to see what you do. I'm sure like fundraising is in that kind of timeline pretty soon. So look, we'll definitely get you back on, and we'll just follow Clove. I think it's a really exciting journey. And yeah, good luck with it all.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
Good
Alex.
stuff.
Have a good one.
Cheers. Bye.
Ciao.
Have a good one.
Very nice.
They're solving huge problems.
That would be so interesting to work on that, just from like the growth perspective, because like I think clear ICP with it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess, are you allowed to have something like that when you're like 16, or do you have to be 18?
I think you have to be 18, like exclusively for adults, right? But
Yeah.
It's even if you're 18, some I don't know, most 18-year-olds might have more than 10K. Obviously, they didn't say, they said their minimums are pretty.
But 18-year-olds have more than 10K.
Well, maybe, I don't know. There's 18-year-olds.
I'd say 0.1%.
There's 18-year-olds who are making some internet money, right?
Yeah. I think
which is fine.
overall though.
And it's going to happen more often, right? But
I had like a tenner in my account when I was 18.
okay, fine. But yeah, what I'm saying is like their market is huge because they can, there isn't an age thing there.
Well, I think it's like if it's, they said below 250K, right? So they're probably not going to have anyone who's like 50 plus. It's like, it's statistically likely that someone older will have more money. I think that like that AI, it kind of reminds me of Clio, right? Clio market it as, it's the sort of Gen Z AI financial helper.
Yeah.
So like that traditionally is like, younger ICP, it's people from maybe 18 to like as old as 30, I'd say. Yeah. Maybe is that gap. And like what's fun about that in terms of like a growth perspective is like, cool, like here's a really specific demographic. Where do they live? I mean, the bottom half's probably smashing short form content. The top half's probably on, you could probably run Facebook ads or X or maybe even YouTube Shorts as well.
Yeah, their growth story will be quite cool to see.
And the viral loops that you can bake into that, right? I'm not sure, but there's got to be some sort of share this with a user and onboard.
But then it's also the whether because financial regulation will stop financial promotion and all that kind of stuff, all those laws,
true.
super tight, and so it's kind of navigating that, and obviously that's what Alex was kind of mentioning there. Yes, it's a massive play, but it's also, you gotta be really careful with that kind of stuff. But then once they're on the platform, it's then fundamentally the UI, UX, how the design feels, how the workflows are, and if you go onto their website, super nice website, clove.com. I can see myself going onto this website and being pretty happy with. It's pretty it's just a landing page really at the moment, which is fair. But they've got the nice green trees, and it's just quite fresh and quite nice. And I think they're a player that can do that. Those two founders are, they've already built two incredible businesses before. So I think they're ones to watch, and congrats to the guys that got into the round. I also just want to touch on ETN is one of their 5 followers on Twitter. So
boom.
We're stoked to have them backing us, which is lovely. Just before we have our next guest on, partner at Atomico, Andreas Helbig, I want to touch on Bessemer Partner. An article from Sifted dropped a few days ago, actually, while we were out of office, famously. Bessemer Partner says there's no limit on European defence investments, which is super interesting. So this is cool, and Bessemer Partner, he's London-based, Alex Ferrara, we'll hopefully get him on at some point. He says, there's no limit to how much Bessemer might invest in European defence tech. While the firm is not sure yet what the right figure is, he says it can write checks ranging from 1 to 200 million. And he says, quoted, "I wouldn't be surprised if we end up investing on the order of 500 million to $1 billion over the next several years in defense tech." And it's interesting that this Europe kind of early mindset where there's massive opportunity, and you can see it. Lightspeed are coming over and investing, shed loads of money into this. Obviously, Bessemer are investing a ton, and Sequoia, General Catalyst, these US players are all investing into kind of European defense tech deals. And what's interesting is, Andreas Klinger, we had him on the show a few last week, and what he was saying was, we are top spec in terms of the world and our tech in precision manufacturing, especially air kind of defense tech, drones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that post went off. People love that. People love the one of
the one that we posted
of Andreas.
Yeah. And so I think it's super interesting. And so people were quoting people saying we're going to invest a ton. There's just a massive opportunity here. Ferrara, it's now the most underrated area in broader European resilience. Bessemer has spent a lot of time evaluating companies in this space, and although they haven't made a bet yet, the problem is clear. China now controls something like 90% of the world's supply of magnets, which is super interesting, and I think we can follow this and maybe get Alex on the show to talk more about what they're planning for Bessemer investing in these defense tech startups.
Hell yeah. I'm pumped to chat to Andreas about this. So we were with Andreas yesterday. We went down to the Atomico offices, dropped off some caps, did a little care package delivery, and we got our amazing books that are now sitting well. One's got some prime real estate, the other one is
the State of European Tech, holding up the Synthesia jersey that we got yesterday.
There's something quite poetic about that, isn't it? The State of European Tech 24 holding up the Synthesia jersey.
Yeah.
The shelves are starting to get quite kitted out, actually.
Yeah, we're looking good.
We still have some stuff coming to one of our
we still have lots of space, so if you feel like there's anything you want to send over, then feel free.
Should we get a little Marna there, actually?
Yeah, let's get a Marna.
Good ad placement for them there.
Thank you very much to Marna. Just a A few words on our sponsors. Fora, flexible office spaces, private offices, whole floors or dedicated desks. Fora offers workspace solutions for teams of all sizes at over 60 locations across London, the UK and Germany. Go to foraspace.com to go and get your nicer than nice WeWork.
The WeWorks.
They're Fora unbelievable. They have some nice treats in their offices as well, and beautifully designed.
There they are, and the famous gummy bears that Luke shovels down his mouth.
They do good gummy bears, to be fair.
In the Foras.
They do great gummy bears. So we have Andreas Helbig, partner at Atomico, coming on in 2 minutes. He's going to talk all about what Atomico are working on, a few of their deals, a little bit on European tech, and what he's focusing on. I presume he focuses on B2B stuff, which is going to be interesting.
I'm just trying to sort. I've got some like binging in my ear, so I'm just trying to sort out.
You got what?
Like this noise, like my iPhone keeps trying to connect.
Turn your
audio,
Bluetooth off.
So my phone's off.
Oh,
I know. My laptop Bluetooth is off as well.
strange.
It's so weird.
Is it mine?
No, I don't think so. I think it's mine. Anyway, regardless, I'll just have to deal with that for now. That's all good. But I want to talk very quickly about. Do we have time? Ooh.
Yeah, we've got time.
There's new levels of performative posting in SF. So like performative posting, we spoke about this the other day, and it is getting a little bit out of hand, where there was a really funny one. It's all very hilarious, but there was a funny one. They did like a performative mail contest in San Francisco where it was just literally, I think like 100 and something guys turned up in SF, like usually from like the arts or the tech or that kind of like the intersection of like arts, like theatre, but also like technology as well. They're all kind of plugged into the SF scene. And they had like a performative mail contest. So like performative mail being like, for example, like someone would turn up with like a Labubu like tagged onto their bag with like 3 books that they haven't read, but like signals something to the other people that are there. It's like maybe it's 3 books on like stoic nature or something, which is obviously like anti-stoic because they're literally there showing off, but it's meant to be in an ironic way. But we are seeing it sort of come into like the normal realm, and there was an X post that went kind of viral the other day from Tina Sang.
Viral, 1.6 million views. Congrats
that's
to
a lot
Tina.
more than it was than when we found it.
At Tina wrote, congrats on 1.6 million.
Yeah, so it's
views.
through a party in SF, and of course this is what I find at the end of the night, crying emoji. And it's just like 2 napkins of like loads of maths equations drawn onto it, which is obviously, I think it's done so well because it's kind of rage baiting, because it's like, okay, well, like, yeah, cool, but like, come on, what else is new?
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a lot more of that.
Like we knew this is normal, so
it's just like, okay, obviously
you're
that's cool.
you're in SF when you end the party and you see napkins with like some unbelievable math that I would never have understand.
I think it was like Paddy O'Ryan, who's coming on Thursday, founder of Odin, great guy. We spoke about his post the other week, but it was like it's posts like this, then someone will comment like, do you people ever shut up? And like they always bang, they always go like super hard. But
so we got Andy
Andreas
on. Andy, can you hear us?
Hey guys, I can hear you well.
Yeah.
Talking about the
Boom! Andreas is in the house. What's going on, my man?
you guys talking about the napkins and SF. Do we believe this is real, or do we think this is like performative?
Well, this is what we're trying to work out. Yeah, I mean, it could be staged. To be honest, they've done a good way. If it is staged, they've done a very good job at baiting people like me, who's clearly in outrage about this. But I was saying, we're seeing it more and more.
It's on a napkin. Like, it's so cliche.
I know, I agree. I completely agree. What are your thoughts? You think performative?
I don't know. I've not been to any of these SF parties, to be completely honest, to be able to directly comment on what they would, if that's true or not. But it did seem a bit performative to me. It sounds like, oh my God, we're so cracked. I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe I'm just trained to not believe everything that people are telling me. I don't know.
No, it seems to be the SF way. Andreas, we were just talking then about our lovely visit over to the Atomico offices. You welcomed us in. We were treated very nicely.
We were.
We had offers for drinks on arrival, seated in a lovely, comfy area, and then you brought down some lovely bucks for us, and we had a great chat. The bucks are actually, we have one here.
Great.
Prime real estate that's right in the centre, and then we've also got one that's working together with the Synthesia jersey that's holding
Can
that.
you see that?
That bad boy up.
I think they work. They work. You know,
It's a lovely
amazing.
combo, right? It's
Yeah,
a
they work
lovely-
amazingly.
lovely
So
combo.
good on.
Multi-purpose, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Not
did you
books
manage
just to be
to read
read.
through-
They're designed to hold up Synthesia jerseys as well.
Exactly. Did you manage to read through the thousands pages?
Oh yeah,
of
easy.
charts and all of that?
Evening
Like,
evening
that's
read
reading.
for us.
That's why I was up so late, Andreas, messaging you, because I was reading the state of tech in 2024
Yes.
by Atomico. But Andreas, let's jump into some stuff. I'd love to chat. I mean, I know we're going back a little bit here, but like I feel this is a great opportunity just to talk a bit about Klarna and the NYSE debut. Can you walk us through that? Like, really cool moment for Europe, really cool moment for Klarna, really cool moment for all the investors involved. Yeah, I would love to hear more about that, and Atomico's relationship with Klarna, how that's kind of spanned out. What went so well?
What went down?
What went down? What's the juice?
All the things that went down. I think first, like it's been a great journey overall. Like for Klarna, I mean, they've been at this for such a long time. It's insane. Like the company was founded more than 20 years ago, and it was seemingly, and I think Sebastian is probably the first one to admit this, like a bunch of pretty random Stockholm kids from Stockholm School of Economics back then founding it. And to see how they've had the tenacity to build, to pivot, to find the right way, or to have multiple attempts of getting market access in the US. Like they've been it's just a story of like a true underdog mentality that has just really pushed through and through and through. And they've now managed to create this amazingly successful business that's an iconic consumer brand, which we first have to do as a BNPL provider. That's not that easy to do, but all the ads and the Pink and Snoop Dogg, etc., really helped to do that. And the underlying business is just something that works incredibly well. It provides a credible alternative for consumers to credit cards, and customer satisfaction's through the roof. And like we've been partnering with them 13 years ago, I think it's now. So it way precedes my time. So I'm personally not taking any single drop of credit here, but it's been quite a journey. And with all the ups and downs and everything that was reported, and the sky high valuations back in 21, and now sort of like coming to a great end of our journey with the business, or nearing that end of the journey of between Atomico and Klarna. Just a great story, underdog mentality, tenacity, and just like overall fantastic team of founders that have managed to push through all of the changes and all the regulatory hurdles, everything that was shoved into their way, and just managed to put through and really achieve this incredible success of IPOing at the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, that's a truly rare achievement for a European company, and they've managed to paint everything pink. And we were sitting downstairs, and you've seen in our office, like we did like a little bit of a gathering here as a team as they were ringing the bell. And I think there was half of the CNBC presenters had like pink jackets on. It was great. It was really great success and testament to what
that's really cool. And it's actually part of what I wanted to ask. Like,
It's going pretty far back, by the way. Like, that's gone pretty far back.
What, the
13 years ago?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the branding
Gotta be
piece,
patient.
yeah. I guess patient with results. The branding piece is massive, and they do an amazing job at it. And I think more so the past, I don't know, I've just been seeing it more so the past 2 years. But it seems like they've really lent into it hard. It kind of reminds me as like a Ramp doing these like crazy viral stunts. And it's something that, like, weirdly enough, obviously it's hard to do it well, but weirdly enough, it just seems like why are all these large companies not leaning into this type of, not shock marketing, I guess your brand needs to suit it, but it just seems like such a positive play, right? Like, How
for like a serious company with their branding being, it's not serious, but it's like it's catching the attention, right? And that's like the whole point of marketing.
It's like they're pink. I think there was an ad where they had like a fish going down a slide.
I think they reposted it the other day.
Yeah, dude. And then people were like reporting it because they were like, "This is, that poor fish. Like, that is so bad on the fish." And it's like it's obviously not real. It's like a fish sliding down a slide.
AI slot.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's just something that I've noticed that they do really well, and like more so this past year and a half.
And I think it's becoming more and more important, honestly. Like I think overall, right? Like we as the tech industry, we're now reaching markets that are more mature than ever. So how do you really cut through the noise? And great branding, no matter if you mentioned Ramp as an example, but that applies to Playo, Light, all of sort of the new fintech wave as well, is that you need to shameless portfolio plug here on Light. That you need to be able to cut through the noise that exists in a category. It helps a little bit of your consumer because then like you can do like really really cool and interesting stunts and pay for Snoop Dogg. So it probably wasn't that cheap for Klarna.
How much does Snoop Dogg cost, do you think?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Man. Like, that would be, I wish I'd known.
It's got to be like a couple mil.
Yeah, that's a couple mil.
He does the Just Eat stuff as well, doesn't it? He did like a Just Eat. To be fair, that was a sick advert.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're sick adverts, and we're talking about them, right? And
so they're working.
Yeah, they're working. So congrats to them. I think money well spent, regardless of how much it is. It's working. So good on them. Can you see like any of the like Portcos and Atomico kind of like funneling into that kind of marketing play, and how much does like Atomico have in terms of say or bringing ideas in, or like, oh look, Ramp just did this or whatever? Like what's the kind of, I don't know, value add that that VCs can give for this marketing kind of stunt?
Holding the camera. No, I'm not sure there's that much that we can do. I think it's also, you can really clearly tell when it's a founder who's driving this, because it's just like different type of how it's been taken seriously, how a communication like really pierces through the noise. There's one great example, and that's what we had nothing to do with this, but it was one great example of a company that I'm on the board of, Strize. They're a KYC AML automation solution, and I mean, this is a boring industry, let's face it. But what the founder has been doing, and she's been really banging the drum for this, is they have a podcast called The Laundry, which is, first of all, great naming for an anti-money laundering podcast. And they have like guests on from the show. There was Dan McCrum, the guy who from the FT who uncovered the Wirecard scandal, plus practitioners from like some of the Nordic banks, and they're actually talking about it and making this interesting. And I mean, the KYC, KYB, AML process itself might be fairly boring, but the stories behind it and sort of the fin crime you're actually preventing through that and bringing these stories to life has actually been like a major driver of their success. And it's been, I think it actually contributes half of their pipeline is through some version coming through that podcast. And so that's actually really cool to see that you're really, they're my favorite example of how you can, even in a quite boring industry, you can actually create that narrative for yourself and do something truly interesting with it. And I mean, we can encourage it on the board, right? Like we do have these conversations about it. And specifically, I mean, if you're in a competitive space, like we just had the board meeting with Light the other day, and I know that Jonathan is going to come on the show, but they're a modern ERP where there's, of course, Light's the best out of all of them, but there's a couple of other solutions that are competing for eyeballs. So gotta invest in it, and that was something that we discussed as a priority for the business. And we have a great internal team of folks who can help like land some media like artifacts, etc. And we can help push some of this, and we're pushing some stuff ourselves. Like we have the series on YouTube that's like Coffee with Our Founders, where it was Laura from our growth team. She sat down with Jarek from DeepL, so LLM unicorn out of Germany. Ben sat down the other day with Oana, who's one of the co-founders of Dextry, like robotics, just raised $126 million Series C. So we can do some of our own media. We can push it at the board level. But in the end, if the founders don't have the conviction to do it themselves, if it doesn't really come natural to them, if they don't really feel it, That's also then, well, then you've got to find other ways and do whatever, good old outbound. So it always has to come natural, and there's only, we can get the examples, and I think Marit from Strice is getting tired of me making introductions to our portfolio companies. Look at how Strice is doing it, but there's only that much that we can do, frankly.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, even if the founders aren't really kind of interested in doing something like that, like, it just adds into the fact that, like, these guys could be, like, if you bring in people that could maybe run a podcast or kind of have that marketing play, like, that is like, you know, that's an impact hire, like, right there, like, number one impact hire, right? And if you crack it, and if you kind of do well and it wins on a marketing front, like, the founders don't have to be involved, right? They've just hired well, and they know that it works. It's just, they know it wouldn't work if they were to do it, or they want to focus their time on something else. And it's kind of all about putting those right people, like, in that place. Yeah, that's super interesting. Like, making, like, a inherently boring company actually quite fun and interesting and actually kind of value add as well. So.
I think it's great, but in the end, I think it has to be cohesive, right? Like Sebastian Klarna, I mean, he himself shows up in this pink suit at so cool. Wearing these stylish glasses. I mean, it's like the brand is an extension of his personality.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you're right. Like, we're seeing how important it is for, especially in the pre-seed world. Like, not like specifically like every pre-seed should have a podcast, but the more and more they're leading into like pretty high quality media production launch videos, which weren't really around as much, honestly, like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They've kind of come in this past sort of 2 years. But these are like high production quality, super theatrical. I think like Pokey's one was one that went super viral. They did like an amazing job. I think they've actually, WhatsApp's just banned all like side like companies that are leveraging WhatsApp foundations. So now Pokey, they're in a bit of trouble, but let's hope they get that sorted. But like, maybe it was Cluely that kind of put it all on the map. I don't know, but theirs was also really good. But it does seem like founders are starting to understand, maybe I guess younger founders are starting to understand like the power of like a viral launch, but it's not even like everyone's always known the power of a viral launch can be like really powerful. But I think the barriers to entry to do a viral launch have got lower with this high production quality launch video type Twitter launch like game that people are playing.
I mean, you guys did that, right, for the ETN launch. So talking your own book, guys. But no, it's true. It's true. It's become really the play, and I think specifically, right, like if we apply this to Europe, I think this is a reality that hasn't fully settled in Europe yet, because in Europe we're still, and I think it's the right way to do it, but we're very much like substance over style first, and if you I think there's still like some aspects on the style that we can help elevate, and where we can where I think if that reality and that importance of some of these viral launch videos, like just the amount of attention that you can grab is actually completely insane. The amount of demos that you can gather, the amount of credibility that it gives you, and is great. It depends always on the vertical that you're in, right? Like if you're whatever, an AI productivity tool, like AI, whatever, email clients, then you're appealing to a tech crowd that's on Twitter, then it's probably makes a little bit more sense even than if you are whatever, targeting AML professionals, just to do that example, or Claim Sorted that we just invested in, that's like targeting to insurance TPA buyers. It always depends a little bit on the segment. So need to justify like a little bit if it always makes sense. But it's great that the barrier to do these viral launch videos, to have the cinematic quality, is coming lower and lower. And it's great to see also more European founders really leaning into this and taking the storytelling aspect of their business more seriously. Because we have the substance all along, and the style is something that, like, with taking it a bit more seriously and with having a couple of luminaries in the space, like we can dial that up even more.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cool. I saw a joke tweet about that was like, the real winners of this like AGI race are like the production teams who's selling these like these launch videos, like the film crews and stuff, just like every week just raking it in. Because some of them cost like tens of thousands of of pounds. I think
Yeah, well, I mean, all these tech firms are, raising tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. And so it's a drop in the ocean for them to drop like 10, 20, 50, whatever K on a launch video because it's like, it's so valuable. Like if the launch video bangs, it's like, that's great, right?
I think clearly,
that's the bloodline of the company.
Clearly spent like over 100,000 on their launch video. I'm pretty sure. But no,
So,
that's
cool.
super interesting.
I wanted to, just to change, have you got any more questions about that?
Sorry, I've been talking for a while.
I wanted to change. I appreciate we're going to run out of time if we don't talk about this. There's a ton going on in like European defence at the moment, and I'm like super interested in to hear like your take on this. Bessemer just came out with an article with Sifted saying that there's basically no limit on the amount that they will invest in European defence. Appreciate this isn't necessarily kind of your focus personally in investing, but like what are you seeing at Atomico? What's the idea around it? People are saying that there's lots of funds that are going to their LPs and changing kind of their having conversations and saying, look, like we're going to focus on this, like are we allowed to kind of stuff. What's going on kind of behind the scenes at Atomico in that kind of realm?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually something that I'm focusing on more and more at Atomico, as sort of an extension of
that's exciting
vertical software and vertical hardware work. I mean, it's a vertical, but it's certainly something that we're very much leaning into because out of a multitude of reasons. Like first of all, because we think it's the right thing to do. Frankly, like we have there's a war in Europe, and we need to do everything that we can in order to defend European values. Like it's as hard and as simple as that. So, and we can play a contributing factor in this. So I think that's one thing. Second thing is just from a pure financial investor point of view, the commercial opportunity is just massive. Mm-hmm. Like the fact of how good and how quick it is to get to commercial approval and to get to at least some pilot and research contracts with MODs or with primes, like they're really open for business. And it, of course, doesn't work with every single company, but they're really open for business. And there has been a certain novelty and a truly great commercial momentum on that side. And then thirdly, frankly, it's the quality of the founders. Like we've always liked backing sort of like ex-military founders because there's just like a good certain sense of discipline, execution quality, etc. That just surrounds this archetype, sense of duty, willingness to do whatever it takes. But the founders that are building in the space are genuinely, truly high quality. So out of a combination out of all of these factors, we think it's the right thing to do. There's a commercial opportunity. There's great founders building. So like we'd be stupid not to look at it, frankly. And then there's sort of the practical reasons, exactly as you say, sort of behind the scenes. I mean, there's like it wasn't quite as clear as many of these funds were getting started and pulling together their LPA docs on the fact that the opportunity would be so clear. And for some it went quicker, and for some it took a bit more time and some caveating and working around it. But also amongst the European LP community, there is a great willingness to be open for business when it comes to investing in defense, and that's a great development as well. And I mean, LPs do play an important part of that ecosystem. So there has been some softening of languages, exceptions, etc., to be made, and we'll make sure that with our next fund generation, we can set it up in the right way, just directly from the start. But we're very much open for business and in this area, and we're actively looking at multiple opportunities in defense actually right now, as we do think it's great and it's the right thing to invest in. So like we're all the back end stuff we can sort out.
Yeah, interesting. I appreciate we've run out of time, but I want to ask one more question. Can I?
Yeah, go, jump in.
Go for it. What's the there's articles and people are saying that the US are like heavily investing in European defense. Are you feeling that there's like competition in these deals? You know, they were saying kind of like, you know, massive kind of players, General Catalyst, Sequoia, are kind of all like eyeing up and getting into these deals. Like, what's the competition like? And do you think it's kind of playing into this like AI bubbly type conversation, or is it like actually kind of got legs and you guys are fighting for deals?
We think, first of all, if there's not competition around a certain investment opportunity, the other investors out there are pretty damn smart too. So it's usually a good sign when
follow the competition. Love it.
Love a good fight with another fund on a deal. So that's all good. But it does play a role, right? Like for the three reasons I mentioned earlier, right? Like the European sovereignty aspect, the commercial opportunity, and the quality of founders. And for the US funds, they're of course more interested in reasons 2 and 3 as opposed to in the European sovereignty aspect, even though some, like General Catalyst specifically, they do have a European team, and with the La Familia acquisition, they do have some very good European heritage as well. But it does play a role for founders. A lot of the founders, specifically in defense, not only in defense, but specifically in defense, are very mission driven, are very driven by the European sovereignty aspect. And specifically in a competitive situation, like where funds founded by a European entrepreneur for European entrepreneurs, and where we make sure to beat the drum around exactly that tone and that messaging. And it does play a role, not just for defense, like actually truly more broadly, is that like good sense of European patriotism, European pride, of whatever you call it. It helps us in competitive situations, frankly, that we are a fund from Europe for Europe. We don't just come with the US view and thinking we can do everything better. We know what it's like to expand as a European company to the US, and not just assume from the get-go that you were started in the US. So this is an angle that we play, that founders care about, and that helps.
Yeah, interesting. Well, look, thank you so much for talking to us. And we're 4 minutes over, so you've done a good job. You've entertained us. We appreciate it.
And it's a regular seat, Andreas.
Open seat. Come on whenever.
And to deliver, I have to admit, I felt a bit bad giving you the books because that's the 24 edition. But it will be the 25 edition of the State of European Tech. Very soon, I think around Slush, so like 4 more weeks or so.
Nice.
So
cool.
you'll get the new version as well.
Okay, we'll have the updated one, because we've been reading that, and we're going to use that for all of our narratives right now. So we're going to tell people out of date information, Andreas.
We've been powering so many VC pitch decks to LPs with that report.
The burden's on you. We're going to give outdated news, so make sure you give them to us.
I'll message Tom about this.
Awesome stuff. Look, thanks a lot, Andreas, and we'll catch you soon.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Andy. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
What a legend.
Mad, I didn't realise he was getting into defence. Love that. That's cool. We're gonna have to talk to him about that. He'll come back on. Just a quick thing about our sponsors. ACI.dev, the open source middleware to control, govern, and observe AI access to your tools and data. CPoint, get back control of your finances with CPoint, your startup's financial home. CPoint is a business account that handles invoice payments, expenses, payroll, and reporting. Go to cpoint.co.
.co for those guys doing
cpoint.co.
great
Let's
work.
go.
So this is really funny, and basically an Aura King coming onto the timeline. This account was made this month, and he's got 5,500 followers. I think it was made like a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And the account name is, so the @ is Compliant VC, and the name is Henrik Jonassen. I'm not sure if that is a real person or not. Obviously there is a real person called Henrik Jonassen, but I'm not sure if the account itself is actually a person called Henrik. But he introduces himself here. He goes, "Hello, I am Henrik von Aldenborg Jonassen. I am from Europe, but recently relocated to San Francisco to bring European-style investing to the US. American startups don't need faster growth. They need startups that are better aligned with the government and voluntarily pay higher taxes. If you're a founder building a company that embraces regulation and bureaucracy, let's meet." So obviously, it's come on to shitpost, is on an actual generational run shitposting. So like his first introduction post was like his first ever tweet, got 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
The next day, he drops another banger. This gets 9.3k likes. I raised 100 million euros to invest in European startups. However, the European Financial Innovation Committee suggested I reduce my fund from 100 million to 3 million after going through their 18-month approval process. After paying a 60% VAT, I have 1.2 million left to invest into startups. All investments will be subject to government approval and additional taxes. Which talented EU founders should I meet? So this guy was just like straight up mogging European venture essentially. But some of it is
He posted a tweet,
so
like
funny.
1.3 million views, and like seriously kind of like mogged a lot of people, and people were commenting. There's a ton of comments. There's like 1,000 comments. Name a better place to build a startup than this area. I highly doubt you can. And it's just Europe.
Yeah.
A tiny slither of Iceland and like loads of stuff. And obviously, the top comment that I'm getting is. Someone's just circled Hawaii, which is like
What?
fair play. I don't know.
I saw someone repost that and it was like
building a tech company in Hawaii is probably a bad idea.
Better than Europe. Someone retweeted that and put like bros tweeting from like the 1700s, back when like the European area was like kind of ruling the world. But so funny, he's dropping like absolute bangers. Not like obviously they're mogging Europe, but this one's funny. Just met with a, in capital letters, rocket ship in Norway. Small team of only 15. Only been in business for 9 years, and they've already hit 1 million ARR. I'm incredibly bullish.
Incredibly bullish.
There's another one that I saw literally the other day that I have to just quickly find because it was also really funny. They're not all loading. But no, really funny account. At Compliant VC. He's mogging Europe, but he's doing great work. He's doing it really well, and his posts are banging. So, hats off to you, sir. You know how to generate aura and views and impressions. So you're gonna have to teach us.
Well, he rage baited the US more than we could. So
yeah. Well, he's doing it so hard that I think he's rage baiting Europe now.
Is that an AI? Is that an AI picture? It's got to be of him.
Of him, yeah.
Henrik
I think
Jonassen.
so. It's incredibly well polished. I think it's got to be.
Yeah, he looks pretty. That's definitely AI.
It's such a funny account though.
AI.
Like I'm trying to get up the other tweets that he was doing just because they were so funny. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I do think it's worth it.
No, it's fine. Well, we're meant to have our next guest on now.
Saba.
Yep, Saba's meant to be joining us in the studio. He will join. He's a busy man. Saba, a bit of background. He grew VEED to 5 million ARR, 6 million ARR, bootstrapped. So congratulations to Saba. He actually just posted a tweet, which kind of went. I don't know if it went viral, but like it did pretty well, which is quite interesting. Only 170,000 views. In 2015, left the first job right after college. Oh, here we go. He's here. Saba, can you hear us?
I can hear you great.
Hello.
Saba.
I was just reading out your viral tweet that you posted like yesterday about your story.
Yeah, I'm surprised it did so well.
170k. I just live over 1,000 likes, which is a nice milestone to hit. So congratulations, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Also, congrats on the generational overnight success of 2015 to 2025. That's pretty mad. That's insane. Let's deep dive.
What happened 2015 to 20? Oh, what? Yeah. The 10 years in the making.
Your life.
Yeah.
I love the photo. Is such a well done like glow up. Attached to the generational run. Yeah, would love to hear more about this story.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go from 2015. You know, what's changed, and how have you done it? I'm sure lots of people are like,
let's hear the whole.
God, I wish that could be me.
Right, fine. Okay, we'll do that then. So a bit of context. Tweet yesterday went up, and it was just kind of like a before and after overnight success kind of story, 10 years in the making. And I suppose it just kind of plots the 10 years between leaving college and starting the company, and kind of all the pain that you take on the way and all the lessons that you learn. I do think it's obviously, we're just like summarizing it a little bit with a tweet, and it's definitely a little bit clickbaity intentionally. So I don't want to say this is the exact story, but I think the main lesson here is like, it takes a while. Like you've got to learn lots of different things along the way to build a company and for it to be successful. You got to learn how to build products, how to market them. And that can take, each of those learnings can take 2-3 years at a time, right? So yeah, it was a long journey. And to get VEED started, it was pretty hard, to be fair. We didn't have any funding. We bootstrapped the company to about 6 million in revenue before we raised any funding. We got rejected from YC every single time. In fact, we never got accepted to YC, still to this day. And
but you don't want to be accepted to YC. You're killing it anyway.
Wait,
so
how many times did you apply to YC? Because
it must have been 4 or 5 times.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say there's that famous rule where it's like on the 3rd one you get in.
No, it must have been 4 or 5 times that we got rejected from them. But it's nice because I get to troll them every time they do intake now on Twitter, and it normally goes like, gets me a bit traction.
I love it.
And like also the amount of like competitors that funded a VEED like since then is quite impressive. So you know what? It's nice to have a small enemy that you can
always.
like.
Yeah.
I need that in my life, you know. I need someone to prove wrong. I don't know why.
Well, I can't lie. You're actually our enemy because your backdrop is like way nicer than ours. We were saying this yesterday. We came to your offices, and we were saying you're going to have a cooler like backdrop than the people like.
Yeah. So
you're not even doing well, I guess you are. You are doing a podcast. You have your own podcast, but this is our full-time thing, and you're just out doing it.
We were getting live mogged by Saba in his office in his podcast studio yesterday. For those listening, it's a lovely little spot, and your mics as well. You've got those mics that you can they can kind of go anywhere.
So I have a confession to make actually.
Oh no.
5 minutes before this live stream started, I was like, get ready, make sure everything's set up. And I get a pop-up on my Mac, and it's just like, would you like to do a firmware update of the mics? And I was like, this is a really bad idea. Don't do that. I clicked firmware update, and then like the mics are basically not working, so we're just running off the laptop. So this is just for visual effect.
I love the honesty.
Oh, we've overdone it.
I love the honesty.
Just never do a firmware update.
Fake it till you make it.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Amazing.
Right, let's jump into VEED and what you guys are building. Do you want to give a bit of a background on VEED, and then we can kind of go a little bit deeper onto more kind of recent kind of product updates and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. So VEED is it started out because I was, very interested in video, short form video, and how powerful video is for connecting and creating audiences. Pretty much what you're finding out right now as well, right? Like it's such an incredible medium, yet it's so hard to create.
Yeah.
Back when I started the company, professional software was the only answer to creating video. And VEED was one of the, really first attempts at democratizing it, putting it in the browser, making it simple, letting people use AI to help them get their jobs done. Turned out that was a needed piece of software. And so over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, that's grown to about 10 million monthly users, hundreds of thousands of paid customers, and like a growing team across Europe, about 175, 200 people in the company. We do probably about 50-50 generation, and about the other half probably like core editing. What I mean by that is about half the videos on the platform are generated, complete with AI, and the other half are edited from videos that people have recorded that are like, let's say, more authentic. And marketers are the people that love using us. The biggest use case at VEED is marketing and social media. So that's a really quick tour of what VEED is.
Nice. I love it. And you're just kind of marketing to these marketers, right? Like, so it kind of anyone can use the product, whether it doesn't matter like what you're starting, like you can kind of use it straight from the ground up and create a very good, incredible video that you can use to market whatever you're working on, like from day one, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We have ICPs that we target and we go after, and very much the sweet spot for us as marketers. What's super interesting though is, there's a massive long tail of people doing things with it that you just wouldn't expect. Mm-hmm. Everything from, wildlife photography and videography in your garden, all the way to like, kids in elementary school making videos for their homework assignments. So it's everything between that. But yeah, you can just sign up for an account. Don't need to talk to anyone at sales. Just click the button, start going for free, and you can start creating content straight away.
Wow, that's awesome. Should we? I want to go back to bootstrapping, and then when you raised. What's the story behind that? Was it genuinely just because you were trying to fundraise and you couldn't find the investors, or was it like was it a strategic thing? I mean, growing and bootstrapping a company to 6 mil revenue is like a very hard thing to do, and very few people do it. So like, what's the story behind that? And then why did you decide to fundraise in the first place?
Sure. So, I think the fundraising environment in UK or even globally actually looks very different today than it did 2018, right? There was a few dedicated, pre-seed seed funds in London, in Europe, but risk appetite was not what it is like today, and especially not what it was like in the Valley for sure. I didn't have a traditional CV. I went to art school, so I didn't have like Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford on my resume, so I don't think that didn't help. And I also didn't have any big tech like Meta or Google or anything. So I don't fit necessarily into your classic ICP that a venture capitalist likes to back. So I think that was like the first problem. So when we went out and built the company, me and my co-founder had about a year's savings in the bank, and that kind of got us to the point where we had an MVP. It was live and people were using it. But when we came to the point where we tried to fundraise, also known as when you run out of your own money, like we just got with rejection after rejection after rejection. So, what we did at that point was my co-founder got a full-time job, and he would give me half of his salary every single month so I could continue building the platform.
No way.
And so we did that for like 6 months, right? And then after that, I was tired, he was tired. We needed to kind of like press reset. So I got a full-time job as well. Through that process of then us both having full-time job, we're doing, mornings, evenings, and weekends, keeping it alive. And what happened was we were like, what's the best, what's the best thing to do next? And so we thought to ourselves like, Y Combinator, they back, young, ambitious founders. We've showed that we're gritty and all of this good stuff. So we tried to go to Y Combinator. So we get an interview, we fly there, and we thought to ourselves like, hey, I think we're in for a shot here. VEED's got about 40,000 monthly users right now. It's growing really fast.
Oh, wow.
It's looking good, it's looking really good. So after our interview, we thought to ourselves like, I think we could be in for a chance here. But then they gave us that rejection email and said, look, unfortunately, guys, you haven't got a spot this batch. And there's a line that says, we don't understand why you haven't started charging your users. So we got this email on a Thursday or a Friday. And we thought to ourselves, hey, why don't we actually just like try and get paid users over the weekend, email them on Monday and see if we can change their minds. And that's exactly what we did. Built a paywall over the weekend, got 20, 30 paid users, asked them to reconsider, and they didn't. So we were like, you know what? We're done with this. We don't want to speak to any VCs. We don't want to speak to any startup accelerators. The only thing that we want now is to make 20, 30, 40 grand a month, have a small team, and just to keep plodding away and do this thing that we love. And that's exactly what we did.
That's
awesome.
I love how, that's so funny. And I really want to ask about the YC rejection email. Because was it, I know that loads of people always share these, it usually comes without advice. I think it's just like, thanks, but not this time. We really liked you, next year would be a better time or something like that. But it sounds like they actually wanted to pass on genuine advice to you guys that you then implemented, and then they ignored that you'd done it in the future. But what was that experience like the interview process and stuff? Is it you're sat there in person? Are you on this video call? Are you in the offices? Maybe it's different back then than it is to now, but...
Yeah. So it must have been 2019, 2020, I can't remember. And yeah, I mean, you fly. It was when you used to fly to the other side of the world for a 20-minute interview, which kind of seems ridiculous now, but that's exactly what happened.
No way.
It's 20 minutes of really fast questioning, and you're a very unexperienced entrepreneur, and you're across the room are 3 very experienced investors and operators. So yeah, you're just kind of doing your best to answer the, you know what I don't miss? When you're small, investors like to ask questions like, well, why is Google not just going to crush you? And he's like, well, they could. You know what I mean? When you get bigger, people don't ask you those questions anymore. But we're like, why is Adobe not going to do this? They've got more experience than you. Why is Meta not going to build this and put it into their platform? Then you're going to be crushed. Look, the only thing that I've learned from all of this is just perseverance, persistence, and these markets are much bigger and much more interesting, and they have way more different crevices than you might assume. You know, like, yeah.
No, I hear that. I feel that's always like maybe a slightly lazy take, like when they're looking at something like, yeah, maybe they could, but they haven't. And also, like, we don't know. You know, information creates action, right? Like, it's the Coinbase CEO, one of my favorite quotes of his. But like, you don't know what you can kind of discover once you go down that path. Like, there are probably maybe another 1,000, well, infinite doors right behind that path that you don't know that are there. So like, I think just killing the idea at day one because like Google might build it, I think that's like counterintuitive to what we should be doing, especially at a younger age as well, like for builds in the space. But no, that's incredibly interesting. Something that we heard, and I've just got it down on my screen here, hiring Silicon Valley Apple video veteran Pete Steiner as CTO. Talk us through that, because that is super interesting.
Yeah, so, you know, we I think everyone likes to say like, hey, the product that we're building, it's really hard. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone thinks that what they're doing is like, you know, pretty much like the hardest version of computer science there is. However, at VEED, I think what we are building is genuinely really, really difficult. and the product is very much the experience. People leave with pixels. They literally leave the platform. The output is a physical video. Like, it's a real living thing. And to build software that is really well designed for making videos is really tough. You have front ends, you have back ends, you have transcoding, you have different file formats, you have AI for generating video. And there's all these weird things, like if you're editing a video and you decide to remove the background of the video, okay, so you send that to the back end and you get a new video back. So you've now got two versions of that video. Now you want to, let's say, clean the audio. You've now got a third version, right? And then you've now got multiple layers within layers. So it's a very, very complex thing to build. And to find someone who's got like experience building these things and knows how to design org charts around building complex software like video editing is really, really rare. So we did an executive search that honestly took about a year. And wow. I remember when I first saw Pete's resume or LinkedIn profile, I was like, no way. Like, no way is someone who's worked at Apple for 30 years there's no way that someone who works at the biggest company in the world, literally, is going to fly to the other side of the world and join the smallest company in the world. Like, that is just not going to happen. So let's not even entertain it. But after I had my first conversation with him, I was like, actually, you know what? Like, he was describing at Apple that they were, I don't want to get him in trouble, but like, he owns a P&L just like we do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, money comes in, money comes out. Let's just not burn too much money. Let's not, all of these things. So, and like the hunger and the attitude and the energy and kind of like how he talked about the product and advice that he was giving us about how we could improve, I was just really impressed with. So we continued on this journey, met up Christmas just gone, brought him over, had dinner, chat, breakfast, all that sort of stuff, and thought he'd be a great person to join the company. And so we're like, hey, Pete, should we get on with this? Should we do it? And it was a leap of faith on both sides. Huge move for him, huge move for us, and we tried to put as much downside risk in as possible for both sides. But honestly, it's worked out incredibly well. Super lucky.
That's so cool. Really in terms of the product since he joined, then what's changed, and like what are you kind of looking for in the future in the next 6 months in terms of product updates and stuff?
Yeah, look, I think the main thing is, we're all looking at Twitter and the news, and everyone talks about how fast AI is moving. And I am always thinking about the next tool, the next feature, the next innovative thing that we can do that no one else is doing that is going to make us stand out. And that's great, right? And you definitely need people like that at an organization. But at the same time, you need someone who's like steering the ship in a direction for the long term,
doing the fundamentals right
to help you chart the right course.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at what a product looks like when you just chuck in the next feature and the next feature and the next feature, it becomes feature soup, right? And I think he's definitely a yin to our yang. We're this fast growth, highly ambitious, energized company, and he's someone who's seen it before. And I think that yin to the yang is where really special things can happen, actually. And I think so I can't give you the exact features that we're going to be building out because we now have that level of Apple secrecy that he's brought. But yeah, it's just good stuff.
No, that's really awesome. I like that because we used to have that at Convergence, and we'd always say that at any given moment in time, we'd either be in like a reactive mindset or a proactive mindset. And it's okay to be in either or at any time really, but you don't want to stay in one for too long. Like if you're in this reactive mindset and you're constantly just reacting to what's happening in front of you, it's short-term thinking. You're reacting to whether it's a bug or like a customer requests a certain feature, so you go and build it really quickly, and it's like you can kind of get lost in the source a little bit, like lost in the features, maybe as you said. And sometimes you have to switch back to the proactive mission. Like, what's the North Star? What are we all working towards? What is the goal that we're trying to hit in the next 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, right? And I feel that like if you stay in the proactive mindset for too long, maybe you're missing a lot of the stuff that's going on around you that you should be paying attention to, right? So we always tried to jump between the two and kind of not stay in one for too long. And it sounds maybe a similar thing with this hire as well. You've kind of got that steering the ship from a North Star perspective technologically, but you guys can still operate as a really fast and agile, like strong player that's kind of, we've got our eyes and our ears to the ground as well, but we're still moving forward, which is really cool. Sounds like you guys have cracked some sort of secret building sauce there.
We have cracked nothing, my friend. We are still we are learning to crack every day.
The guy who bootstraps a 6 million ARR has cracked nothing.
Hasn't cracked anything.
You know what? I was chatting with a friend about this at the weekend. I think that what makes an entrepreneur sometimes, or a founder, like who they are, is the fact that they're never, ever, ever satisfied or ever feels accomplished in any way.
Yeah.
Like the level of like punishment that you give yourself, that it's not good enough, is potentially the reason why you keep going, right?
No, it's interesting. We've discussed that at length before, right? It's like there's an amazing clip of like Jensen when he's discussing like NVIDIA. Someone asked him like, if you go back to like 19-year-old would you still be doing NVIDIA, or maybe would you like chuck a load of money in Bitcoin or something like this? And he's like, I wouldn't want 19-year-old me to know how hard it was to build what I've built, because if he did know, he wouldn't have done it. Like he was so deluded and naive to the fact that like this is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life, that like having the information on how hard it would be, he never would have created the thing that he created. Like he had to be slightly naive, he had to be slightly deluded, he had to be slightly weirdly intense, where like it's not good enough to build NVIDIA, which now like 8% of the S&P, which is nuts.
I mean, I always think about this, that like, the skills that made early VEED successful and is the fact that we were good at product and engineering and marketing. I do none of those things now, none of them, right? And so like most companies that get off the ground, it's because the founders have these like incredible abilities to build shit products that like people love, but then by nature of them becoming successful, they don't end up doing those things. It's really weird. Now it's all about org charts and one-to-ones and stuff like that. That's not as exciting.
You say you want to get back to shipping and
get in the trench.
Get in the founder trench.
Yeah.
You need a founder's associate to do all the one-to-ones and stuff.
Dude, you should. Yeah, we can help you find one.
Yeah, if anyone listening wants to be a founder associate, whatever that is, let me know.
So good. Sava, we're fresh out of time. Thank you so much for coming on to the European Technology Network. It's been an absolute blast.
And thanks for inviting us into the VEED offices as well. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
No worries. What's that behind you actually? What's on that T-shirt?
This here?
This lovely thing.
Yeah.
So this, go on. It's from the co-founder of Synthesia. So the day that we met you guys, we also went over to Synthesia offices and they blessed us.
Well, it looks like we might have to get an opposing football shirt on the other side.
Nice.
Oh, I love it. Let's, hey, look, ready when you are, Sava.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, yeah.
Have a good one, mate. Cheers.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Awesome.
What a legend. Cracked founder. And never enough.
Yeah, I like that. He's the bootstrapping to 6 million ARR is actually super insane. Like nowadays, that's just completely unheard of. Like everyone's just raising like mammoth.
But you kind of just never hear those stories where it's like I mean, maybe you do. Maybe I haven't got the kind of memo, but it's like bootstrapped 6 mil ARR or whatever, like to a fairly sizable business where like, I guess like some people would be like, okay, that's good. Like I'm doing 30, 40K a month personally or whatever, and I'm pretty happy. Then to go and raise from Sakura and be like, nah, we're making this like a VC backable startup that we're going to hyperscale and take down a load of other hyperscalers and large companies and take some of that market share. Like that's that's kudos to him. It's like a different type of founder, right? Like you know those high cash flow business founders who are happy sticking at what they're doing, and they're kind of they're growing maybe 3%, 5-10% maybe a year, and it's kind of just referrals and a bit of marketing and that's kind of it, and SEO maybe, and then you've got the other side, which is the venture backable, really hyperscale, grow really, really fast and maybe sell or whatever, and it's like a different skill set.
Yeah, it's weird.
Saba has both.
You have to be aware of the fact of what you're
building. What is the goal?
There.
Yeah. What's the goal there?
Because running, high margin, low burn,
like a lifestyle-ish business.
Yeah. You're kind of giving that up to raise the cash, right? Because then they're breathing down your neck in terms of hey, what are the metrics? Like how much have we grown this month? I
can't imagine Sequoia are chill about their portfolios.
Yeah, but as a VC, you kind of have to not be chill about that stuff, which is fair. Yeah. But he's going from not having that to having that, which is like a conscious choice that would have been weighed up and summed up in his mind, right? But it just means that he's all in on himself and VEED and a big exit for the shareholders, and
we hope so. It's going to be a big business. I mean, we know that editing and video and stuff, we were talking about it earlier on the show, is a huge play, and these guys are at the forefront, and they've got what was it, 10 million monthly users? Did they say? Maybe that's wrong.
I can't remember the monthly users. No, it won't be 10 million. I don't know. He said it was 40,000 back in 2018.
I think
40,000.
Yeah. Maybe not 10 mil, but I'm pretty sure it was in the millions.
Was it 10 mil? It might have been 10 mil.
It might have been. But just before we have our second guest, our third or fourth or whatever guest on, I want to give a shout out to Guillermo Flor, big VC name in the LinkedIn space.
Sorry, Ruth just pinged me then, it's 10 million.
Okay, 10 mil. Thanks. Guardian angel right there.
Guardian angel of the show.
So he wrote an article about the AI bubble and what 10 things you need to know about it, and it's a very good article. We'll share it on our X. But I just want to touch on a few things that he kind of mentions in this, and it's kind of like, essentially the AI bubble is strung on this thing called circular financing. And word for word it says, broadly, circular financing in AI means money and technology flowing in loops among a few key firms. Instead of a straight vendor-customer chain, each party becomes both investor and client. In practical terms, one company will take an equity stake in another, which then spends cash buying products from its investor. Think about it as like a closed loop deal. Lend me 20 quid so I can buy you a beer. That's essentially what it is. And he kind of maps out all these companies, all these massive $100 billion companies doing this. NVIDIA and OpenAI. NVIDIA supplies the GPUs that power OpenAI's models and has pledged $100 billion worth of investment into OpenAI. And so in effect, NVIDIA will fund OpenAI, which then in turn will then spend that cash on NVIDIA chips. So it's like that circular financing. You see that with Microsoft and OpenAI, Oracle, OpenAI, NVIDIA and CoreWeave with Microsoft as well in there, AMD and OpenAI. So you've got this kind of network of circular financing happening, and this is kind of what's interesting about comparing this AI bubble with the dot-com bubble. So the dot-com bubble was pretty much the same thing, and it's interesting that Guillermo kind of goes very much in detail about why this might be interesting, but why also it might not be the same to the kind of dot-com crash and dot-com bubble that happened, because the funding of the dot-com bubble was kind of more, or it was basically like they were funding nothing, like no value creation was happening. And so in AI, there is actual value creation. So the kind of question there is, will people like OpenAI, who are buying unbelievable amounts of chips and compute, will they actually get to the point where they're kind of generating cash flow? Is essentially what Guillermo is saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, go and check the article out. It's called "Shit, Are We in a Bubble? 10 Things You Should Know." Super interesting.
All round great guy as well.
And all round great guy. But I think we should do a bit of a deep dive on the AI bubble stuff.
We'll have to get some folk on.
Is that part of the interest? Do you want to do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. We need to get some people on for that. I'm just looking at the time. We've got Bella coming in 2 minutes.
Bella.
While we're waiting for Bella, let me just tell you a little bit about Fora. It's the flexible office space. Private offices, whole floors are dedicated desks. Fora offers workspace solutions for teams of all sizes. Over 6 locations across London, UK and Germany. Workspaces to make your everyday extraordinary. It's Fora.com.
Go to foraspace.com, I believe.
Foraspace.com. Nearly had it.
There you go.
Super quick. The Louvre was robbed.
Standard procedure.
It was robbed in broad daylight. I've got the wrong link there for that, but it was robbed in broad daylight. It was robbed by 2 fellas in high-vis jackets. And I saw it
blending in the high-vis jackets. I love that so much.
Well, there's that like common thing that goes around where it's like you can do anything in a high-vis jacket. You can get anywhere in a high-vis jacket. And when I was younger, like this speaks to me personally because when I was younger, when I was at university actually, a buddy of mine, me and a buddy, we snuck into a festival wearing high-vis jackets. We just put these high-vis jackets on. We had like an earpiece like this with like thing, and we just wrapped it around our ear. It was not plugged into anything. And we crawled under a gate, got in, so we were immediately backstage, and we were holding bin bags as well. We brought bin bags. So you see a guy with a bin bag and a high-vis at a festival who's backstage.
You're not gonna bat an eye, right?
That guy's obviously doing something. Don't know what it is, but he's got a high-vis on, and he's got a bin bag. So, but it looks like they kind of one-upped our kind of heist. We were just getting into a festival. I think Lewis Capaldi was headlining. Didn't actually end up seeing Lewis Capaldi because we were caught in the act sneaking in. However, these guys managed to do what we did, but they did it at the Louvre. And the crown of France was also found.
They dropped it, didn't they?
Yeah, in a gutter. Which is a real shame.
That is just like imagine you get to that, you're successful. Obviously we don't condemn doing anything like this, but they're successful and then you drop it in a gutter. Talk
about like fumbling the bag, right? Because you're away. You're off. You're done. You've got the French crown, and then oops.
You win and then you suddenly lose. Sell-out nation right there. I think we have our next guest on.
We have Bella in the studio.
Bella, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
What is going on? What's new?
What's new? I don't know. A lot of stuff. Very busy times right now. Touring from European city to European city.
Love it.
To bring the builders of Europe together. So always busy. How about you?
Amazing news. Yeah, we're good. We've just been unveiling our new additions to our wall you see behind us. We have a lovely Synthesia jersey. Atomico.
I saw. I quickly tuned in and I saw that you got another jersey promised.
By Sava, who runs VEED, which also does image generation for videos. A split between that and content creation.
And it's funny because together with them, and it's not announced yet, but together with them, we're gonna host another hackathon in London this year at VEED's office.
Nice.
So this is like we agreed on yesterday. So it's funny that I come up right after him.
No way.
Yeah, that's a coincidence right there.
What a small world.
What a small world. We'll have to get some jerseys made for the Tech Europe VEED hackathon.
Yeah, you guys.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Get some
That's a really
jerseys
cool
made.
thing.
We can have one here. That's maybe what Sab was talking about. I don't know if they have. Do they have jerseys at the moment? Maybe not. I don't know.
VEED.
Yeah,
It's
they
not
gave
a
us some
common-
tote bags, which is quite nice. We were there yesterday. We were at the offices yesterday.
Yeah, the space is cool.
Oh, so this Synthesia jersey is like a casual swag from them. It's not like custom made for you.
I don't know.
It's not custom made for us, but it's it has Synthesia Club. I assume they've got like a genuine like football club that they.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, but it was from Stefan's like personal office, like in his personal cabinet.
But it's not
That's
worn.
true.
It's not a match worn jersey.
No,
It's not-
unfortunately
it's not
not.
match worn.
It'd be better if it was match worn and framed. You know,
I don't know.
Stefan
We'll have to get it out. It's being held up by the State of Europe, European Tech 2024 book, which
Super
we'll get a
poetic.
25 book on stuff.
Anyway,
But look,
I want to talk about Tech Europe, Bella. What is Tech Europe? I've been seeing it everywhere. That's why I've reached out to you to chat to you. I think you had
dude,
posts
you're going
recently
viral
that
like all the time.
Every post seems to be just an aura farm and a banger. You're getting mad likes, mad impressions. I'm jealous. Our game needs to be upped because our impressions aren't that high. Talk us through Tech Europe. Talk us through what it is.
Yeah.
Give me the lowdown.
Yeah, so essentially how it started was pretty much a year ago. I spent 3 years before in VC, and afterwards I wanted to build my own company. I wanted to build some small projects, get to know potential co-founders, and I was already living in Berlin back then, and I Googled around to find like a hackathon to attend, and I couldn't find any. Like there was nothing happening there, so I thought, okay, this like needs to be changed. If no one's running one, why shouldn't I run one? So this is how it started, with like one hackathon that I did myself to kind of meet people, and from there on, then early this year, with all the like new momentum in European tech through like Trump getting back into office and like Europe and the US having like a worse relationship, I thought, okay, there is a big gap and there's a new need for big tech companies in Europe. So we started scaling the hackathons across pretty much every relevant European tech hub. And in the end, Tech Europe should be an ecosystem for technical builders all around Europe to empower them to build their own companies, to find the right companies where they can create the most value, and this is like the slogan, to create a minimum 10 new 100 billion plus companies in Europe in the next 10 years. This is like because what I believe is it's good to have a few unicorns, but it's very much more important to actually build businesses of global scale. And this is what we try to do through a lot of different initiatives, hackathons being, I think, the most visible ones.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Well, congrats. How many hackathons have you done this year?
I stopped counting, but I believe it's around
Feels like once a week.
17, 18 or something. So I think when we started early this year, we were on the schedule of like, I think through January, February, and March, it was like once a month. And then it turned into once a month. And now it's like 2 a month. So I think, we're going to close the year at like 20 hackathons this year.
So sick.
And you're just literally running it through your X and your like social presence, personal social presence, like, you know, people just coming in and obviously signing up for this stuff, but purely just through you. Is anyone else kind of running these things, or?
Yeah, I mean, through my personal stuff, through like we want the people inside the ecosystem, inside the community to spread the word, right? So that other people then join in. So it's it's putting the word out, and then people see it, people find out about it, people want to join, and we try to create momentum around this. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it. We had a hackathon, like our biggest hackathon yet, here in Berlin, like a week ago, and we had over 1,200 people who registered. We accepted 400, and those then queued here in the morning. So we try to also keep it a little bit exclusive to really keep a high quality crowd, and do this in all other cities as well.
No, I saw that. That was it was like something. It was like 400 plus people queuing up at 8 in the morning in like I think it was a raining morning in Berlin for the big Berlin hack from Tech Europe. How was that? How did it go? Because that's a nuts amount of people to have on the sidewalks. On the
Yeah,
pavement.
it worked quite well. We were lucky to have a great location collaboration with both Delta campus here, where we host the majority of our hackathons in Berlin, where we also host our physical builder space sandbox, and the Code University, which has the floor above. So we actually hosted it across 2 floors, one main working floor and one presentation and get together area and workshops. So that worked pretty well. Actually, so it was a lot more preparation than a normal hackathon, but actually in the end, with all the people who helped, all the people from Code University, all the volunteers, it actually went quite well, and I was very happy with it.
Really cool, really cool. It's nice to see that these things are happening, right? We spoke to Andreas Klinger, and one of the clips, I mean, obviously it's a great conversation, he's doing amazing work with EU Inc., but one of the clips we put out after this was about how, into talking about the 5 people that you're closest to around you, right, the communities that you stay in, and he was speaking for quite a while around, he's such a huge fan of these concentrated, high-density areas of extreme talent. And the 5 people around these individuals in these communities are of the same like, right? They are almost outliers to your usual individual because they're so driven and so focused and so intelligent on this specific one thing, whether it's robotics or coding or growth or pick your sort of industry specialty. And when I was looking at your profile a little bit, I was having a look at your tweets, and you have this thesis on unipolar versus polypolar ecosystems, right? And I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was seeing parallels between what you and Andreas were referring to with that. Would love to hear more about those in particular and that tweet that you put out.
Yeah. So I think there are some overlaps. So what I was referring to when I talked about the ecosystem, it was more about reasons why people are in an ecosystem and what this means for the ecosystem and for the trajectory of the ecosystem. As an example, I think it's a very clear example if you do it between Berlin and Munich. Just to give an example, I would say Munich clearly as an example of a unipolar ecosystem, because you have this one thing, which is the Technical University in Munich, and then more specifically the CDTM program, which pretty much brings 95% of the relevant people into the startup ecosystem of the city. Whereas in Berlin, people come for all sort of reasons, but usually the relevant people in tech haven't studied in Berlin. So the reasons why people come here are a little bit more spread out. And I think on the short term, some unipolar ecosystems like Munich and Zurich, they have big benefits because the people know of each other. If the absolute number of people is not so big, it is way more important that the people are closer together, that they have the same reason they're being there, that creates this. And this is then where it touches Andreas' point. You need those people in the same room, the driven people and so on. And it just creates this easier. But I think in the long term, for an ecosystem to really grow big, it has to have several reasons to go there. I mean, if you compare it to, I think, the overall biggest ecosystem in the world, San Francisco, yes, they have Stanford, but the vast majority of people living in the city have not studied in Stanford, right? They're coming from all over the world. They're coming there because they want to build there, and not they just studied there and they just don't want to leave, right? There are different reasons. But I would totally agree with Andreas on this. It's funny because he's having his office right 1 floor up. So what we try to create here is also a little bit of just getting people closer together. This is exactly why we created our physical space here, which is right behind me, where we host early stage technical builders in the first months of building their product and company, because especially in this early phase, it's very much important to be around people who are as driven as you, who have the same level of ambition to support each other, to help each other, but also just to build alongside. And actually, Andreas was one of the most important drivers in actually bringing this project to life back a few months ago, because he was the one who I asked about how I should make it possible, and he was the one who's giving me the push to just do it. And that's sometimes just what you need, right?
I love that. Andreas is the goat. He helps us a lot as well. So yeah, the godfather of this EU tech renaissance is Andreas Klinger. So props to him. I want to touch on like content and kind of what you guys are like working on. What's your kind of like relationship with content, and how do you think like that's going to like bring these people, as you said, like, you know, SF is one of the largest ecosystems in the world, or is the largest ecosystem in the world, but they're not just coming from like, say, Stanford. And a lot of it is just general attraction. And I think like to be able to build that kind of general attraction to kind of tech Europe as a kind of centerpiece essentially of the kind of puzzle is probably content, right? Getting the distribution kind of stuff out there. Are you guys leaning like seriously heavy into that, or like is it? Yeah, what's the kind of idea around getting the like word out there?
So I'm trying out different things. I think what I do right now is that I focus mainly across LinkedIn and Twitter, and then YouTube. So I have my experiments with short videos from time to time, but right now, what I believe is more in longer term storytelling, deeper connections with the audience, because I believe. So the main problem of like European tech and why people, and the main problem is that people who have grown up here, they are leaving to build their cool stuff in San Francisco. Right? This is one of the main problems, I would say. And the root cause of that, yes, we have problems in regulation and so on, but I think one of the main issues is storytelling, and that the US and San Francisco and Bay Area people, they just nail storytelling. Every like success piece that's coming out of there, they make it a big story. And here in Europe, we are having a hard time getting our story right and making it an attractive story for people to build here. So we actually in the past only had the very much like missionary people who build stuff here. So I think we have to nail this, and I think like more engaging long-term storytelling content is for me right now the way to go. So we every 2 weeks we right now publish a YouTube video, like a vlog style thing of what's either happening at the hackathons, what's happened at our space here. I did the first video was, for example, how we opened up this space in the first week of the sandbox. So I think this is right now, but I don't know, maybe in 2 weeks I pivot again and I go all in on TikTok. I cannot tell because I am not settled on that too much yet. But for me right now, it's more about like doing a long-term storyline around how you do stuff in Europe and how you build up this ecosystem, and to showcase builders who do it here as raw as possible.
Really cool, really cool. And it kind of that brings me on to this next point, and it fits into the storytelling type of thing. But like I think and maybe it's related to Sandbox as well, which I'd love to hear more about. But it was this like creating SF in Europe type energy that like we see it. We see people saying they want it and want to do it quite a lot, but like we don't really see that many people actually doing anything about it. Which you are the outlier in here. You are genuinely like
action. Action is key. I love it.
Yeah, running at this head on. Can you maybe then talk to us a little bit about Sandbox, and then with that quote in mind, creating SF in Europe? Yeah. Maybe how these correlate from what I've researched. They maybe do, but please.
Yeah. So essentially, what we try to do with the Sandbox is that we bring together technical builders in their very early stages. Usually, people are still building solo, and bring them in this ecosystem with people who are at the same point in time, who are also just ideating, maybe have their first product now, and just create this ecosystem and the proximity of like having people around you who are also driven. And people can apply. They can then, if we accept them, stay for up to 6 months. I mean, if they fundraise before, they leave automatically because it's an offer. It's not an accelerator. We don't give people money. We don't take equity. We don't take no fee. It's like free. It's an offering for people who otherwise would either sit at their home office or in whatever small city, or they just want this like extra focus. And that's the offering that we do. And I think when saying like building SF in Europe, I think the misconception is that like we want to create one big ecosystem that is like bigger than the rest. And I think this is not the point. This will never work in Europe. Like Europe, how it's set up, will never be able to choose one city to funnel all the resources into, because we don't have any mechanism to redistribute the profits of that, because we're not like one state, and it's never going to happen. No, I don't know. French chancellor, French president, whatever, German chancellor will say, okay, yeah, let's funnel all our resources into Barcelona and not do it in our economy, right? The incentives are just not there. So essentially what I mean with it is that the energy and what makes SF special is the people there, and that the people are very close to each other. And what I deeply believe is that, and this is exactly what Andreas said, the 5 to 10 people that are closest around you, they define how productive you are, how far you get, the kind of ceiling of what you can reach. And it's not the 11th, 12th, or 100th of person that is then in your further further around you. But it's really what you need to create is those, and they can be small. And they actually, I believe that this is possible in every European tech hub. Even if you have a city that is smaller than Berlin, even there will be 10, 20 very, very ambitious technical people who want to build. But the problem is usually in those, and now we're coming back to the point, in these polypolar ecosystems where not all the talent is flowing in from one side, usually it's very hard to find those people. And this is like what we try to do. We try to identify them, or in our case, push content out so that they see us and they then apply and they then find their peers here. And this is the idea. And then it's about the energy that makes San Francisco as it is, and not the whole ecosystem, because we'll not be able to copy that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's something that a friend of mine, it's actually Dan over at Medfin, we've been discussing this for a while. So he's a founder building in the dental AI space. But it's almost like if you do become aware of the power associated with doing that, with surrounding yourselves with like incredibly ambitious, incredibly driven individuals who are also operating in your space, like that should be like a strategic choice to better yourself or improve your chances of winning, right? Because it's just free upside. If you can, it will. But the problem is most people don't have an area in which to do that, right? Like, yes, that would be great, but what are we all going to go get, like WeWork memberships or something? Like, they cost money, right? Like, maybe they don't have the money to do that. So that's really cool that it's open space. We're not going to take anything off them. You're not going to take any equity for letting them build that. We need more of that. So it's really cool. But I'm conscious we are out of time. But this was really good. This was really awesome. It's so good to get a take on what's happening on the ground where you are.
How can we help you?
Yeah. I mean, anything we can do to help support, please let us know. And we'd love to have you back on to check in maybe after the hackathon with VEED. That could be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for inviting me. Have a great rest of the show. And see you soon.
See you soon, man.
Cheers, Bella.
Have a good
day. Bye.
Damn, really cool.
Dude, that guy's going to be... that guy's tapped in. He's going to win. He's going to be...
It's cool. Like, it's really important what they're doing, which I think is really cool. 2, you can tell how much he enjoys it by like how he speaks about it, how passionate he is. It's kind of like the same as Andreas, right? Like, and the fact he knows some of Andreas's quotes off the top of his head shows that like maybe there's some sort of like mental relationship going on.
Also, he just gets it. Like he knows that like it's not about like copying SF vibes. It's about kind of creating like our own story.
Yeah.
And I think like things are aligning in Europe, and maybe this is pretty deep, but like it's like things are aligning in Europe where it's like, and even James Wise said it, that it's the most exciting time to be building in kind of this ecosystem. It's like almost early in the kind of story, and people aren't just getting into like hyper kind of technical kind of states, and like Europe is kind of known for like this like tech maximalism in terms of there's no like style there, I guess. And it's getting, you know, we're pushing kind of both narratives essentially. Like we're top class in that, but now we're kind of pushing this kind of style and that kind of stuff. And people like Bella are kind of doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean, just like very much taking advantage of like a really powerful narrative. And he's young. So yeah, props.
I'm pretty sure he's younger than us.
Props to him.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, no, very, very interesting. I want to talk about X really quickly. X is launching a marketplace for buying inactive handles. What a dream this is for so many people. You probably know the feeling. Maybe you're setting up a new company, you're setting up a new profile, you're setting up a new personal profile, whatever it is, but you can't use your handle, right? You can't use your handle, and then you search it up, and it's like a steel manufacturer in southern Argentina with one follower who's never posted, and you're like, it's peak. That's just, come on, surely there's a better way to allocate this. But just from TechCrunch, X is launching a marketplace for inactive handles that will allow premium subscribers to request and purchase usernames. The marketplace will offer both free and paid options for requesting or acquiring eligible handles. Rare handles could be priced at anywhere from 2,500 to over 7 figures, X says. Now this is making me more interested because we're gonna see some, like, I'm reading this now, right? And I'm already seeing an arbitrage opportunity. People will start buying up
like super good,
at, you know, if there's like at
water.
It's just one line. If you're at table, we'll go at, it probably already is gone, but and it's reminiscent of obviously like the .com stuff. Everyone was just buying domains. Now, you know, I think friend.com, obviously Avi Schiffman's viral AI hardware device that's only in the US, I think.
Cost like millions.
Friend.com, they spent, I can't remember what the number was, but it was like a very large percentage
like
of
at least one of their investors' checks worth of
it was a huge
money.
Percentage.
Like if you're an investor in friend.com, which wasn't friend.com, to just buy the domain, I feel like that's like a super, like, you've got to be bullish on naming.
Well, they raised what was it? I can't remember. They've spent 1.8 million on the friend.com donate. That was it. They raised 2.5 million and they spent 1.8 on the domain. And this went viral at the time, and then there was a debate whether, like, oh, you know, was this a viral, like, is 1.8 million, like, is that price worth it associated with the virality that they got?
Well, that's the thing. It's like probably the best marketing play you can make, right? Yeah, you can do a launch video and stuff, but like, think about the press that gets, right? It's
got
like both, and it's all about the domain. People are going to go search up friend.com.
Drives them to the wait list.
Is it actually a meta strategy to
Yeah, I mean, you could literally model that out with like models pre-ordered compared with like price of the campaign or the 1.8 million purchase.
But then again, a launch video is not going to cost like £1 million.
You know, it can cost like 10 grand, which you can kind of get the same impression.
Kind of
ultimately, I think the consensus was no, that's not a good way to deploy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I kind of agree with what they.
It's like 80% of your seed round on the.
Yeah, but think about it. It's like the domain, but then the marketing spend, which is like
I
that's
think they could do it
spend.
cheaper. I think you could do that for 100 less, like 20.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't get the press. That's the thing. So it's like if it was like 600k, like that's still a lot of money.
Yeah, nice check on the language.
A lot of money, but it's not going to get the press. So it's like yes, it's a lot of money, but it's not going to get the press. So like you're kind of in both realms not winning. Whereas in a $1.8 million deal, it's like, yeah, fine, you've like spent a ton of money on the domain and more than anyone else would do kind of in the 99th percentile, but then you're getting the press. So
But how much is the like? Yes, the press is great.
a lot,
but,
a lot.
Does it convert to?
It would get into all legacy players. For sure, like FT would be announcing it. Sifted
Yeah, but I mean,
probably
like, does that
maybe not Sifted.
Does that equal conversions? Is he selling pre-orders based off that? Like, what is?
No, but there must be a wait list or whatever. Anyway, interesting stuff. Obviously, oh no, we did mention the Amazon outage, didn't we?
Yeah. But still on this, the marketplace. I'm sorry, I have to go back to it. But it is now interesting because we're going to have the domain, the .com purchasing. We saw it when the Ethereum domains came out. Like, they're not domains, the handles, but it was like .eth. People were buying up water.eth, as you said earlier, like iPhone.eth, AI.eth, whatever you want to call it. This is a thing. There was a frenzy for buying these because everyone was like looking back, like, oh, what happened with .com? It's going to happen with this. So, and same as all this sort of stuff. It was like initial hype was kind of crazy. Some of these domains were selling for absolute coin, like millions and millions. Some of it kind of teetered down after that, and there was like a pretty meteoric crash. But this is reminiscent of that. Like, this is an interesting thing, and I'd be curious to see how X will play this in terms of, is this a new, are they taking a percentage cut off the top of each purchase, right? Yeah. That would be very smart. That would be like a big, you essentially, I don't know what the global monthly users of X are, but like I assume a large proportion of them will one, want to have their own handle because they want their own handle, but two, now that they understand that there's an opportunity to try and make some money or try and arbitrage some cash here, naturally that will bring people in, like in any sort of new fad where there's a possible upside of quick cash. It usually brings in a load of people, there's a load of hype around it, and
a bit of a meta side hustle for the X fans out there, which is super cool.
But yeah, just so the launch of the new marketplace will allow X to boost revenue.
When is it launching?
Through direct payments. It will also potentially increase interest in its premium subscription offering as it continues to deal with a struggling ads business. Obviously, when Musk came in, most of the ad partners moved away from him. But that is interesting. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be a direct sort of like revenue play. They have to be a subscribing member to participate in this. So there's like an increase in your subscription memberships, and then also I assume maybe they'll be taking a fee off the top of these purchases if it's handled within.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they wouldn't have to take like a large fee, would they? Like, it's
1%, I guess, less
0.5 maybe.
Is
I mean, some of these deals, like how expensive do you reckon like one of the most expensive handles would be? Like millions for an X handle?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the handle has to be inactive. Like, you can't just buy like Musk's handle that he priced at like $1 billion. But yeah, no, very interesting. And I think we should be having our final guest coming in shortly.
Yeah, so we've got. Here we go. Are you in? Wayne, can you hear us?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? What's happening with you? Good to have you on the stream.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I've just landed in London last night, just at the Index offices, because these are amazing offices. So I'm normally based in Manchester. I hear Ronan, you went to school in Manchester.
I did, yes. Yeah. So I was at Altrincham Grammar, which is a school in Manchester. I didn't know that you were based in Manchester.
Yeah, I grew up in London, went to school in Croydon, and then after graduating, I spent some time with the Hut Group, which is based out in the Northwest. Now it's headquartered in Manchester Airport. So been in Manchester in the region since 2013.
Oh, so cool. Okay, we have so much to dig into straight away. This is fascinating.
Live on the stream, realise it.
Okay, so why build in Manchester and not London?
I think there's a lot of talent. It's got one of the best universities for computer science. We actually relocated some of the team that had previously lived in London to Manchester.
No way.
Obviously love London from here, but Manchester also got great coming up city life, great parks and recreation, but also amazing university, lots of great research here. And so we're happy to build hopefully a differentiated tech research company out in Manchester too.
Wow. Really sick. I
That's
love
pretty
that.
cool.
I'm a huge fan of this. I've never heard. I've never heard of people doing that. As a Mancunian, I'm pro that. So respect.
We've got to get you to come up soon.
Yeah, damn. I need to go home and obviously see my family, but also come down to your offices and see the Sourceful team and all the brilliant stuff they're doing. And then after that, I'll go see my family.
Are you in London a lot for Index? Obviously, they backed you like a few years ago.
Yeah, I try and come down once a month for a few days.
Nice.
Oscar, my co-founder, is actually based in London, so he's been commuting 3 days a week to Manchester. So amazing graft for him.
Damn.
Yeah, fair play.
Those train prices, man.
Yeah. Or flights. So I presume you fly.
Oh, you do City
Definitely train. It's only 2 hours.
Yeah, that's fair.
Super chill.
I think there's some congratulations on order.
Yep.
You sent me a DM a few days ago. Hypothetically speaking, it was confidential. It's not now, right?
So
not
cool.
now. I can do it live.
It's all good now.
If a European company were to say not Nano Banana off the top spot of the leaderboard for the best image model in the world, would that be interesting to cover on ECN? And I replied, if you can make it happen, let's do it, hypothetically. Not hypothetical anymore. Congratulations. You've done it.
Thanks.
Well done.
It's a tribute to the team. The team worked really hard. We've been spending a lot of time in packaging design, very technical space. You know, you've got packaging all around you. Getting designs that actually look and feel great with the detail is very difficult. And we were using the models that were already out there and trying to push them to their limit, just, trying to make better prompts and workflows and systems. We couldn't quite get there. And so when I was out in San Francisco, had a really inspiring chat with someone who was my classmate at OpenAI, who gave me some time and taught me a couple of things. And I thought, okay, maybe we can see if we can push our own models even further and see what we could build. And so, yeah, I submitted our model to the leaderboard and I messaged you saying, I think maybe we have something, but of course we don't know until the results come out. Mm-hmm. And now the results are out.
Wow, really, really, really cool. There's
insane.
a few things there.
Just saying you've won and won against like Google, ByteDance, Alibaba, Black Forest Labs. Like that is mad.
Yeah, seriously nuts.
So congratulations. Sorry.
Seriously nuts. No. It deserves more time. I'd be keen to pay close attention to the benchmarks and see how that progresses. But a huge congrats for getting the #1 spot. And there's a few things here. So I'd love to talk about is this a new pivot? Is this like a new focus for the Sourceful team? Because I know that there was an element of image generation for like packaging, right? Like this was originally, it was decreasing emissions for supply chain lines. You did a C, then an A as well. Are you staying within this realm, or is this going to be, we're just going to pivot to like specifically image generation for in the AI space, or is it package image generation still? With that goal of CO2 emissions?
Yeah, so we had focused entirely on packaging design. Really like we were with the manufacturers trying to work out how we go from a concept that you might have for your upcoming merch line that would be very successful, trying to get that all the way to manufacturing and how to nail the details, because you create this very detailed PDF with loads of layers, and the manufacturer has to go and break that down and create a printing run. And when we worked on the editing world, we were really focused just on packaging. But then when we started to benchmark it, it actually started to do really well in non-packaging tasks. So whilst I'm here talking about the model, the team is in Manchester really quickly upgrading our website. So in the next couple of weeks, you'll now see logo design, mood boards, photo shoots, basically all of the things that we thought we would do eventually. But now the model enables us to do that earlier. And it won't just be Riverflow. Riverflow 2 is coming in a few weeks, and we're going to keep going, and also moving into images and video. So we're really excited because e-commerce companies have been coming to us saying, AI is coming everywhere, but how do we access this? The model doesn't give us enough quality. How do we get higher quality in one place? So really excited for that.
Yeah, that's
I
fascinating.
think there's a lot to say on like being in your niche and like owning that niche, right? And so you guys have obviously owned the packaging niche, and you've got existing customers there, and it's kind of like especially with this kind of general AI boom, niching that down into what you guys are obviously amazing at is like such an opportunity, and obviously like you're now front runner in creating things like this. Is this like it's almost like a distribution play for you guys as well, essentially, because you're, you know, there's another value add to that to your whole product.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, right now it's packaging, then logo, then brand, but actually we will learn how to create all sorts of media.
Yeah.
So that I think that's where it's really interesting. And the real focus is how do I keep your brand consistent, which is much harder than it sounds, because it's not just about putting your logo on things. It's about understanding the sizing, the color, how does that fit in with the overall aesthetics of your product. And that then leads into billboards and leads into TV campaigns and everything else. So the size of the prize is actually anything that you need to brand and stay consistent. But we're starting small, going after design tasks, you know, generation, editing. Half of our users are designers. And I think, you know, we want to make sure that designers feel like this is a superpower for them as well, where they can then take it back into Photoshop and Illustrator and make it perfect.
Yeah, seriously sick. So what are the next 6 months like for you guys then? Right, you've hit this milestone, you've hit this achievement. Surely, I'm assuming some inbound from this, or people will be, you know, recognizing the fact that you've achieved this pretty hard thing. Maybe that's like a catalyst to, you know, get some momentum moving forward. Like, what does it look like internally? What do the next 6 months look like over at Sourceful?
Yeah, so on the platform, we want to service the millions of people that are creating their own brand. They have a team of 1 to 5 people. They want to get going. They want to have a logo. They want to have packaging. They want to be in the shelves and retail online. That's where the product will continue to get bigger and better. But we've also now had lots of inbound from bigger e-commerce groups. Turns out they're also processing hundreds of thousands of images, taking photos, editing them. It's very manual, very, very slow, very expensive. Mm-hmm. And then we also have some very early conversations with some bigger platforms that aren't in packaging, but would like access to the best model in the world. And so, you know, we're excited about understanding and exploring all three. We do have Riverflow 1.1 coming next week, which is a speed update. Riverflow 1 Pro coming out tomorrow. Riverflow 2 coming out in 3.5 weeks. So I haven't been sleeping much. Let's just put it that way.
Proper founder mode in the trenches.
That cadence is nuts. But I think it, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it is required in this specific space when there are like benchmark associated sort of like accolades that validate what you're building. Like, it's incredibly important to constantly stay on top of it, right? Because these things move pretty quick. When we were at Convergence doing browser-based agents, like part of and I've said this many times, like the thesis was like, we weren't really worried about someone catching up. It was about someone completely leapfrogging us. You know, we had like agentic tasks that we were modeled on, I forget the name of the benchmark now, but like we had, you know, the usual players of the world models, and then we were kind of on there. We were number 1 for a bit, then we were number 2, then we were number 1, and then we were 3, then we were 1 again. So like it was constantly moving, and the cadence was incredibly quick there. And it sounds like you guys are aware of that, and it's going to have no impact on the cadence that you're shipping, which already is clearly very high.
Yeah, I think one thing is on the benchmarks that there is this general benchmark, right, which is hundreds, thousands of these different image tasks, but then there are like specific benchmarks for e-commerce. So I do think over time, we may also need to have e-commerce specific benchmarks. So take a perfume bottle, create a video ad that makes sense. That's very different to coming up with something from scratch. So I think we would also like to say that benchmarks are great, and we may also need to come up with ones that are relevant to industry. We want to stay in e-commerce and brand creation. Yeah.
No, very cool. Okay, sick. And then like team size, we've not discussed this. What, you know, is this a large team? Is this a lean team? What's the focus there, and what's the split as well?
12 people, half in engineering, and you know, we work with. I mean, if you include freelancers and contractors and partners, it's a much bigger number, probably like 50. But in terms of the core team, it's a very small group, and I do strongly believe that in the age of AI and R&D, like you have so much more leverage if you can stay lean with a very like empowered high agency group of people, and have a great life in Manchester. Although I think I might be traveling a bit more these days.
No, that's so funny. True. With this kind of new thing that you're doing, and not necessarily pivot, but like you know, the new and exciting like things that you've been able to do with everything that's happening in AI and tech and large language models and stuff. What's the plan for raising any more money? Are you going to try and hyperscale this, or is this like, you want to not work slowly because obviously you're shipping quickly, but like working kind of systematically, or are you looking to like really hyperscale what you're doing and make sure that you kind of put your kind of flag in the ground essentially with all the other players moving quickly as well, and with huge budgets, right?
I think there's a difference between going after general like image creation where everyone's going for like, lowest cost possible to actually solving real revenue driving use cases. And where I would say, I'm more realistic because I've come from e-commerce, is that, are we at the place where you can put a product image in and get a perfect video out that you're going to spend $1 million on YouTube for? I don't think we're there yet. And so I think the moment when you decide to really hyperscale it, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to deliver the user outcome at scale. I don't think we're far away though. So I think you need to get ready for it. And I think that image generation, I don't know if you've seen Nana Banana, of course, all of you have played with it, but like some of the things it can do are really superhuman, really like it would take days to do it. But then some things it's just really bad at. And so we're still in that stage of making sure that trying to make sure the intelligence is uniformly better. So we're getting ready, but not today.
Interesting. And we've seen, like, I've been blown away. I mean, when it all first came out, I think there was a famous famous in our niche space, a well-known clip of Will Smith eating spaghetti, I think, is the one that I remember. And it was dreadful. It was he has like, 15 fingers on one hand and the forks like bent and the spaghetti is going everywhere, and it's obviously not real. But there's a newer version of it today that it looks incredibly good. And like we had this conversation with Victor from Synthesia, where some of it is obviously, like the quality is insane. Like the quality has got a lot better with Sora 2 as well. Like we're seeing, I think it was Kalshi did their launch video for, I'm not sure if they were announcing a round or if it was just like a general launch video for like a product push, but they used like an AI video editor. I'm not sure what model they used or what it was built on, but their whole, and it did numbers. It did absolute numbers. It did millions and millions of impressions, and it probably took them about 15 minutes to make, probably less, I don't know. So like, do you see a world where in your niche here, this was going to be as simple as I've got a product, here's a photo of my product, chuck it into the thing, like can you create me packaging around this and it will generate a video? Or is it more like you're designing the packaging around those products? Again, is it like a simple, I take a picture of this, throw it in there, or is it text-based? Like how does that work? Because right now I can create films if I want on these other generation things. Obviously you guys aren't making films, but in that regard, is it going to be as simple as just like text to everything I need?
This is a bit about the kind of taste debate of like, who has taste, who doesn't have taste. But, really, branding, you could have a definition that's like the gut feeling that someone has when they look at your product or service. Trying to get that gut feeling translated into some 10,000 word prompt that then goes into this complex model is hard. So I think a lot of the time that we spend is actually, for brands that exist, can you encode the brand's DNA into a structure where you can then roll out all of these ads? And for people creating brands from scratch, how do you extract that from them? Everyone's got a story. Where I was out in SF meeting people creating consumer brands. There was a amazing person creating a kaya spread on bread, a Malaysian brand, and it's like that was their moment at childhood. That was their happy moment. But then when it comes to writing a prompt, how do they write that prompt? Like how do they provide those reference imagery? So just like any great design process, you need to find a way to extract the hidden gems out of the person's head. And so most of our platform is pre-image generation. If you try Sourceful, most of it is like 12 questions to really try and get the essence of it, and then it goes away and thinks and comes out with the design. So I kind of think that image models will get better and better, but they still can't mind read. They can never mind read.
Yeah. You
still need to find a way to get context out of someone's headspace or their mood board or their team into these applications. So that's a big ongoing problem.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I guess that's a increase on quality of output then, right? The more that you're niching down and interacting with this model at first, like the better that the output's going to be. And is the plan to slowly lower that over time, or?
I think over time people get better at communicating. I think I'm a software engineer, so when you first started prompting ChatGPT, it was a little bit of an awkward, like, what do you write? What do you not write? Now we use Devin and Cursor and Claude and all the time. You get quite good at understanding how to prompt. And so I do think that over time it will get faster. People will just talk to it. Lovable has the microphone. So I think that having a conversation with AI becomes more natural. It will take time. There's a high amount of resistance, right? But I think it will get easier and cleaner and safer.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
There's one. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but
No, go for it.
this is slightly off piece. But like, you interned at Boulderton.
Correct. Yeah, with Mark Evans, James Wise. James Wise was my guy. Yeah.
No, this is actually like friend of the stream, James Wise, absolute legend. What was that like, and when was this? How many years ago? Because it's just really cool. I saw it the other day when I was looking at your profile. We are very close to Boulderton. I personally am very close to Boulderton. I'd love to hear about this.
So I was finishing second year at Cambridge, and I got contacted by Ash, who was recruiting from the Hut, and the Hut had been invested in by Boulderton Capital. And what a fun fact that I'm not sure if it's true anymore in 2025, but when I was at Cambridge, almost no one wanted to start a business. It turns out in my cohort, many people have gone to start massive businesses, but like at the time in the entrepreneurship class, put your hand up if you wanted to start a business. No one put their hand up. Everyone wanted to go to banks or consulting. But when I got the job to sign with the Hut, when I finished my third year, Boulderton said, okay, you could do a month with us, so like, get some business experience. So actually, after the summer, I spent 1 month basically following Mark Evans and James Wise around. I didn't really understand or appreciate at the time meeting these like amazing entrepreneurs who were pitching their heart out, and I was just there asking really annoying questions like, how's this going to work? How's that going to work? Yeah. And after a month, I did some engineering with them, built some tools, and then went over to the Hut, moved up to the Northwest, and then did my time with them. And so always loved Boulderton and appreciated my internship, my only ever experience with venture capital, basically.
That's so funny. Point. That's so cool, and yeah, maybe they'll be part of your story in years to come once you've done your stuff at Sourceful for sure. I was going to say, what's the difference now, do you think, then in these universities, especially in UK and Europe and stuff, from no one wanting to start a business and going into kind of legacy and corporate kind of jobs, which obviously there's nothing wrong with, going and wanting to go and start your own business? What's kind of changed over the last 10, 15, 5 years?
Yeah, barriers to entry. You needed to raise money in order to build a team. Now you can start from yourself, or you can start much easier. If you want to do e-commerce, you've got Shopify. You've got lots of great options to begin and test. The cost of testing and validating has come down, but also way more success stories. I think that when we were in Cambridge, it's very academic, very theoretical. I really enjoyed my time doing things that don't really matter in the real world. It was fun. Like you work on things that are really academic. But I think nowadays people understand that research can come from anywhere. A lot of great research is happening outside of academia, right? It's happening in industry now. It's happening in the big companies, but also just with startups that are trying to push the envelope, whereas before it always happened in PhDs.
Yeah, well,
awesome,
fascinating.
Look, we've run out of time, but thank you so much for coming on, and we're super interested to understand kind of how things are moving with Sourceful, and we'll keep on understanding what's going on with the launches and all of that kind of stuff. And good luck with it all.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man. Ciao.
See you, mate.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome, what a show. Just a quick word from our sponsors. CPoint, get back control of your finances with CPoint, your startup's financial home. CPoint is a business account that handles invoice payments, expenses, payroll, and reporting.
Don't miss the unmissable jobs. It's the hottest startups companies. It's Jack and Jill. We'll listen to what you want and search thousands of new jobs every hour to find job opportunities worth seeing. ACI.dev, the open source middleware to control, govern, and observe AI access to your tools and data. And it's for workspaces to make your everyday extraordinary. Do I need to say any more? It's flexible office space. It's for. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on Thursday. See you on Thursday.